Team USA wins a convincing game yesterday against South Sudan, 103-86. The U.S. led basically the whole game. Second half, South Sudan tried to make it a game, but Team USA pulled it out in large part due to a big effort from the bench. The bench outscored South Sudan 66-14, in large part due to, well, Bam Adebayo coming to play yesterday. I would say he played the best out of everybody on Team USA. He had a team high in scoring with 18 points, 7 rebounds. He shot 80% from the field and 66% from three. But I don't think that was the most glaring thing in that game yesterday. Fellas, it was a starting lineup change once again from Steve Kerr. He started Jason Tatum and Anthony Davis and sent Kevin Durant and Joel Embiid to the bench. How are we feeling about this?
Interesting.
If I'm Joel Embiid, man, I'm going home. Nah, I'm joking. I said this would happen. I said Tyrese and Jason Tatum will play. They're gonna win regardless. So I'm not surprised. I think he's already said that Joel will be back for the Puerto Rico game.
Yeah.
So once again, it doesn't mean anything. It's just who's he going to send to the bench now. I guess the biggest news we're going to have about this whole Olympics is who's going to be the one on the bench in the gold medal game. I guess that's what we have to wait for at this point, because they're going to win no matter who plays. Like I said, so in the gold medal game, the biggest game of the Olympics, who's the person or people that Steve Kerr's going to put on the bench? That's, I guess, what I'm waiting to find out.
Right.
But I didn't watch this whole game. They were up like 20 in like the second quarter, so I started watching at that point. But shout out to Jason Tatum hitting the sides of the backboards on a wide open three.
No Tatum slander. No Tatum slander.
That's not slander. That's objectively true. That's what happened.
We don't bring that.
That is factually correct.
That's just objectively true. Shout out to Jason Tatum for doing that.
Wide open.
Yeah, shout out to Jason Tatum, man. Haven't seen him make a jump shot in 2 months, so shout out to Jason Tatum.
That's crazy. That's crazy that you starting your own soliloquy off with that.
I ain't starting my soliloquy off with that. You just joined at that point. But yeah, I think
Swipe walking into the class late and
yeah,
telling everybody.
and then he gonna say, "Well, I started."
Walked into the class late. We already started the lesson.
Yeah, so
Mars, I couldn't find my phone. Mars, I couldn't find my phone. I'm sorry.
You man, but
as you were saying, Mars,
USA are gonna be fine no matter who plays or who doesn't play. Like he said, Joel Embiid will be back for the game against Puerto Rico, so that's not a big deal. Yeah,
Mars, I'm going to be honest with you, Mars. I don't remember Chuck Daly having this problem. I don't remember Coach K having this problem where you got a loaded lineup and you finding minutes for guys, even if it's a couple of minutes. I saw the body language of Joel Embiid sitting on the bench in warm-ups, and I said, he ain't playing tonight. I already knew it before it even started. I already knew it. So now
that's because those teams had Michael Reds and Tayshaun.
That's what I was gonna say, Mars. Tayshaun Prince and Michael Redd,
and in 92 it was John Stockton who was bad.
Even Halliburton, Halliburton's cold.
Now listen to what you just said, Mars. He was what?
Barely playing.
Barely. There's a difference between barely playing and not playing at all. Those two things are not the same.
Right.
Mars, right quick though.
Joel not that type to not play though.
There's no way we're making this a big deal again.
It's not that we're making this a big deal. In fact, what I like to call it the Marlo Stansfield quote, where this is one of them good problems where I got a whole bunch of guys and I got to pick between who I got to play. South Sudan being as athletic as they are, being as big as they are. Sure, Joel Embiid is laboring. Sure, Joel Embiid doesn't look like the fleetest of foot. But I can find some minutes for a big guy that can rebound and that can protect the basket. I can find some minutes for him. I would much rather, and I said this yesterday to you, Mars. I said this yesterday to you, Ox. Don't tell me matchups. Don't tell me that, because we know that that's not true. Just say, yo, we're going with this lineup tonight, and we're going to sit you. That's more suffice for me, as opposed to you telling me, yo, we're going to sit. I like this matchup better against. Who did they play when Jason Tatum said? I'm sorry.
Serbia, yeah.
Serbia, because they got big wings, and the fact that they got their front line. We need more rebounding. I'm one of the better rebounders in the league at my position, if not the best. I'm one of the better wing defenders in the league. So I can clearly play in this game. Just be honest with me and tell me that, yo, this is the lineup we're going with tonight, and you're going to have the night off. Same logic with Joel Embiid. The matchup with South Sudan, I don't think is an issue. I don't think that's an issue at all. I think that Steve Kerr, being who Steve Kerr is, he has one of those good problems, and I can afford to sit Joel Embiid. And if I can afford to sit Joel Embiid, if I can afford to sit Jason Tatum, if I can afford to sit Tyrese Halliburton, I mean, how much better is my unit if I can afford to sit them? Because I can be honest with you guys, I know James ain't sitting. I know KD ain't going to sit, right? I know Drew Holiday's not going to sit. I know those guys are not going to sit. So I'll be interested to see, because now we're in the elimination round, like the quarterfinals where you lose, you out. I'll be surprised to see how the rotations go from here on.
Steve Kerr needs to lock in and bench Steph Curry. That's what he needs to do. But
nobody want to talk about that.
Could you imagine that, Mars?
Nobody want to talk about that.
Like, I seen it on Twitter. Like, what would be the funniest like benching from Steve Kerr? Like, it's either he benches JT and then Embiid again, or he benches Steph Curry. Those are like the funniest options for me. But upon research, John Stockton only played in half the games in '92. So 4 games he just didn't play, and he averaged 7 minutes a game in the 4 games he did play.
He was getting run though. I mean,
he played 7 minutes and he only played in half the game. So in the whole Olympics, he played what, 30 minutes?
The whole Olympics.
This was like near his apex too. So
this is peak. This is prime John Stockton. 1992 John Stockton didn't play in half the game, so got a DMP in half the games and averaged 7 minutes a game in the games he did play. Are we? So we gonna say something about that? Are we like?
Well, I mean,
that was 20 years ago. I'm not going to
30.
20.
My bad, 30. My bad.
30.
We ain't kids no more, Ox.
Now it's time.
I mean, hey, Slider, sometimes I do be forgetting I'm 33. Right there, that was just L Mac. But sometimes I do be forgetting that. I'll be like, oh shit.
Like the 90s chill. 95 was damn near 30 years ago.
Okay? It seemed like it wasn't that long ago, but it was.
Right.
It was.
Yo, Swiper, you had something you wanted to get into?
Well, no, I mean, I think Steve Kerr has been consistent. He had a conversation with Tatum before the game in Serbia. He had a conversation with Embiid before the game in South Sudan. I think that the only essentials on this team, we did this on Locked On NBA yesterday. I think Mars said one of them: Steph, LeBron, Durant, Anthony Davis, Bam Adebayo, Derek White, Drew Holiday, and is there one more? I don't know if Ant is locked. Devin Booker. I think that's locked. Like, I think Ant, Hallie, Embiid, and Tatum are all like rotational players, depending on the matchup. Because Anthony Edwards has also not been like, I mean, he's not necessary if you got Drew Holiday and Derek White on the court. And then Devin Booker's been like elite as an off-ball player. And I think he's more integral to their prospects than Anthony Edwards is right now.
Does Devin Booker have that kind of like international game where he get busy if he played in
them pull-up shooters, chill? If you can hit shots, like Durant, if you can hit shots and then you can get to a spot on the court and you can consistently rise up over people and your mechanics are where they need to be, that's why Devin Booker is like insane.
1 or 2 dribble guys.
Make mistakes.
Right.
That's why he's so valuable. That's why Derek White and Drew are so they don't make mistakes. Devin Booker, he's not like Anthony Edwards has more athletic gifts than him. But the amount of times I watch that man go 1-on-4 and try and make some, Devin Booker's not doing that. And once again, when it's back to what Penn said a couple of days ago, when it's about fit for the best guys, the LeBrons, KD, Steph, I'm not saying they are the best players on the team, but the hierarchy, when it's about fit for those guys, Devin Booker is one of the best fits because he's one of the best catch and shoot players on the team. Elite and his defense, when he doesn't have a large offensive burden on the ball, and he's just very aware, he's tunes in, he doesn't gamble, like he's not doing anything that compromises anything on either side of the ball. So he's just solid, and that's why they're going to keep playing him because he doesn't do anything negative on either side of the floor. So let's keep playing Devin Booker.
I remember I kind of tried to tell you guys he was going to start, and it was no, Kawhi's going to start. No, Jason Tatum's going to start. No, Anthony Edwards is going to start. I told you guys, Devin Booker, like in this type of setting, that's who you want off the ball, spotting up in the corner. That's who you want to catch when the ball gets swung to him. 2 dribble pull-ups. He's just as steady as it comes, and he's smooth. Got that silky European game. I personally thought before that he was going to be the perfect fit for this team, and he's turned out to be one of the better glue guys that just brings everything together.
To your point, Mars, you talked about Drew Holiday and those guys not making mistakes. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know what you mean when you say that they don't make mistakes, but the stuff that they do is way more valuable than the mistakes that they make. Way more. When Drew may turn the ball over, or he might miss an open shot, but he makes up for that by being a disruptor on defense. Derek White makes up for any turnover or any lack of skill that he has by also being a utility guy. But the guy that I don't think we're talking about nearly as much, and Ron, I am saying this today, August 1st, 2024. I'm out on buckets. I want to build that unit around Bam. I think Bam is an all-pro this year. I think Bam has a big-time season this season coming up. The reason why I'm saying this is because I think about the mold and the kind of crew that you want to build around, the kind of player you want to build around, and the kind of crew that you want to have when you're building around this specific guy. I got a 20-10 guy at elite defense in his prime, in his peak years. I don't want to waste any more of those years. I think that the Miami Heat are a lead guard away from really giving this thing a shot. I'm watching Bam, how awesome he is around the basket. His pick and pop game in the international game looks so much better. Spo has to see this and say that I got to change the offense. Because if I'm being honest with you guys, and Ox, you're a big guy, if I'm building my unit around the mold of what the Miami Heat is, so Bam is a 20-10, elite defender, gets out in transition, great in the interior in the post, as a defender, pretty good box player. Does that remind you of somebody with the Miami Heat in the past? Sounds to me like Alonzo Mourning.
I thought that's what you was gonna say.
That's what it sounds to me like. Can't hear you, Ox. Can't hear you, Ox. But
I wasn't sure where you was going with that.
I thought that's what he was gonna say, but then I just started thinking about how Bam can pass the ball. So
when you say you out on buckets, that means trade buckets or just go through?
I'm ready to move on from buckets, and I want to get a lead guard in here. I got my big man. I love this kid. We can do better than that.
Oh, so you saying Jimmy to Portland for Anthony Simons? That's what you saying? Okay, that's it.
I'm really
you can't do that to Jimmy though.
Nah, Jimmy will get moved obviously to another team. But
right. Okay.
We won't go. We can get a third team involved, but
you gotta get a third team involved. You can't do that to Jimmy.
I mean, I'm not shipping Jimmy to no Charlotte or nothing like that. No, I don't want to do that.
It's the nature of the business.
You're right. But I'm saying,
pack your bags and get on that flight and don't complain.
Yeah.
If you Pat Riley, you don't do that to Jimmy Butler after the work he put in for you.
Nah, shut up and pack.
What work you put in for us, man? We ain't no trips.
But see, that's the difference, Mars. What did we do though? In the 5 years that he was here, we got him in his prime. We got an all-pro. We got an all-league defender. We went to the NBA championship twice. Him as the guy. We're clearly not going to win it as him as the guy. Now, are we gonna go into a Shaq and Kobe sort of thing where Shaq would just take a back seat to Bryant and they would just continue to roll, or like Jabbar took a back seat to Magic? Would Buckets take a back seat to Bam and let them feature him more in the offense? Because to be honest with you, the more I watch Bam, I feel like he needs to be turned loose. I do.
Yeah, but not to that extent. You said taking a back seat to Magic or a back seat to Kobe. Like, sure. Bam ain't that. So no.
That part I won't argue. I won't argue that part, Ox. But think about how this team is built. Think about the way that this team is built and the construction of this team, right? So Bam is more of a defender who can score, very much like Anthony Davis, who I think Anthony Davis is a better scorer than him, but I think he's a defender more than he is a scorer. I feel the same way about Bam, but I think his scoring is going to go up this year. I feel like he's improved just over this summer, watching him in the Olympics. His pick and pop game, he's way more confident in it. His long ball game, I think that we can enhance that throughout.
But hear what you're saying though, Chill. Like I still think you're talking about play finishing. Like, would you agree with that? Like even what you're naming with like long ball, pick and pop, like standalone corner 3-point shooter. Like, do you still hear play finishing when you hear that?
Yes, I do, and that's why I want to upgrade at the lead guard spot for that reason right there. That's why.
Yeah. I think I think I struggle with it just a little bit, just because I think Bam could be a really, just for me, I think Bam is best as an offensive third option on a team, just because I don't know, he's not even Anthony Davis as an isolation scorer or as a play finisher, and Anthony Davis is limited without LeBron. So he's below where AD is. And so I think Bam would just need a lead playmaker, but a lead wing scorer that like can take pressure away from him and take players away from him. Bam is good like in spots like as an isolation scorer. like at the nail, that little one dribble, the little spin, like over the right shoulder thing that he likes to do. But I think him doing that consistently a lot. Because remember, it's not just Jimmy struggled in the NBA Finals. Bam struggled in the NBA Finals.
He was actually good. He wasn't that bad. He was actually good. In fact,
Bam was good defensively, but go ahead.
He just took a lot of shots to score a lot of points, and that's
right. That's what I'm saying.
Product of where he takes his shots from are just naturally inefficient. So
that's what I'm saying. That right there. And he
that,
takes a lot of mid-range shots, but it's
a lot.
But it's like 6 to 10 feet, chill, and like,
right,
but he doesn't hit them at a high enough clip,
right,
to like conversely help you on the, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna have to hit that at like a 50% clip, damn near, if not more, to make up for where the shot is being taken place in the offense.
That's fair, and everything, both you and Mars, what to your points. That does make sense if this was 2 years ago, only except I feel like he has improved. That's why I want to upgrade at the lead guard spot. Because if I can upgrade at the lead guard spot with his improvement, I think he's much better. So those shots that you talked about, Mars, I feel like he can make more of those. One of the guys that I'm thinking about, and man, I wish he could get it together. If Ben Simmons could get it together, I think he'd be great for this Miami Heat team. But he can't get it together. He can't get it together. He just can't.
What about Darius Garland?
I don't know. I like Darius Garland, but I don't know if he fit one. I don't know if he fits the Miami Heat mold.
What about Lonzo?
That's the next guy that I was thinking about, Mars.
Yeah.
Hey, you seen those workout videos?
Those are the two guys that I was thinking about.
So y'all bring up Lonzo and Ben Simmons?
Hey, shout out. Me and Bam got the same birthday.
First of all, Lonzo's playing on 5-on-5 this month. So that means we're going to see Lonzo this season.
And Ben Simmons is fishing. Did y'all see that video clip?
I'm not talking about Ben Simmons.
Lonzo's playing 5-on-5. Not slander Ben Simmons. Let the man enjoy his life.
I told you I don't want to talk about Ben Simmons or Zion.
He's not slander Ben Simmons. That's the only thing you can do if you bring.
He said, "Nah, he's over here fishing." I mean, that was headed left, Ox.
Yes, of course. Left as it should, Swiper, as it should. Anytime we bring up Ben Simmons, he deserves. I don't care what the man can do whatever he wants, but he's gonna get slandered for it if we're talking about it. Right.
See, that's crazy.
Oh, by the way, chill. Everybody knows that I have an infatuation with Bam Adebayo. This is very clear. I didn't realize the reason is because we have the same birthday. Didn't know that. That's where it comes from. That's literally, I had no idea. So there's a connection this whole time. I didn't know it. That's why Bam deserves to be in Denver, man.
Swiper, so you glazed the man because y'all got the same birthday.
That's cool with me.
What's going on the panel right now?
That don't bother me one bit, bro. Shout out Bam.
Lonzo Ball. And you glaze Bam because y'all got the same.
Why are you putting Lonzo in there like talking about Lonzo's a bad thing?
Yeah, Lonzo's just hurt, my bro.
Mars,
when that 5-on-5 footage comes out from Lonzo this month, I don't want to. You guys ain't allowed on the Lonzo hype train. I'm sorry, you guys ain't allowed.
They were the number one seed. They were the number one seed in the East when they had Lonzo.
Bad. I mean, we all love Lonzo. Like, we all love Lonzo, and I hope Lonzo is healthy, and I want to see Lonzo play again. I really do. But you gotta also remember, like. He did have us out here slandering, not us, but had people out here slandering Stephen A, cussing Stephen A out, doing all types of stuff because Stephen A just reported what he heard, said he couldn't do something, and then he stood up talking about I can't do that and stood up out of the chair. So we're like, oh, Lonzo can stand up so he can play basketball. All right. And then he missed a whole nother season. All right. Fellas, I just want to see the kid play basketball. That's all.
And you'll see it in October, man, or preseason, whenever preseason is. You'll see it.
We about to get back to this game, though. I want to talk about the bench specifically. There was 5 double-digit scores off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 4. Kevin Durant, he had 14. Bam, as I mentioned, he led the team with 18 points. Anthony Edwards with 13 and Derek White with 10. How do we feel about this bench performance? And did Steve Kerr make the wrong decision with the starting lineup? Talk about the elephant in the room.
They won by 50.
You expect a strong bench performance. Like, I mean, I know I do. I feel like, everybody on the bench can start. So it's like, to me, it's. I guess we got to call it a strong bench performance because they technically, literally did come off the bench. But these aren't bench players, though. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like I expect that. I expect everybody to play fairly decent.
Yeah,
how many free throws KD have?
You said what?
How many free throws KD have?
9, I think. I believe it's 9, 8 or 9. That's dope. Hey, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. But that's what it takes to stop KD.
I think he averaged 17, like I said.
He took 5 shots, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he had 14 on 5 shots, I believe.
What's that true shooting, Ron?
I don't know, but when Embiid do it, it's a problem. So that's all I know.
No, agendas.
But anyway, shout out to KD, man. I think he averaging like 17 or 18, like I said he would. So shout out to KD, the best scorer on Team USA, significantly. But yeah, Team USA, like so what Ox said, Team USA is not a bench. Their bench is better than damn near every team participating starting five. Very true. So yes.
I mean, are they better? Is Canada better than them without even their bench? Is Canada better than their second unit? Like who's better? Like France?
Nah, because their guards are trash. Like Team USA's bench would win gold. So yeah, good work, bench, but like does it really matter who start? Like the minutes are fluctuating. The start always just play the most minutes. So like, yeah, they didn't start, but
Mars, it doesn't matter. But I have to nitpick because you just don't. Like you absolutely just do not bench the best USA player in Olympic history. You don't bench the all-time leading Olympic scorer in the US. You don't bench your best scorer. You damn near don't bench your best player. Kevin Durant. Joel, I had no problem. You don't. Is it bench when you don't play? Like I said, I'm nitpicking. You don't not start Kevin Durant. Devin Booker can hit the bench. How y'all said Steph Curry can hit the bench. Joel Big Ass need to stay on the bench. Bron and KD got to start no matter what.
But he didn't start. Am I misremembering? He didn't start the first game.
No, he didn't.
So what's the problem?
I think he's working back into the rotation.
KD didn't. No, it was Steph, Drew, Book, Embiid, and Bron.
Mm-hmm. Well, that even goes more to my point. After what KD did the first game, start him.
You ain't even know he didn't start. You know why? Because he played enough minutes and you saw the impact. It doesn't matter who starts.
Starting does not matter. Starting never matters.
Exactly. It doesn't matter. Joel Embiid started that game and played less minutes than everyone in the game. So why does it matter who starts?
Start Kevin. Hey, you just start Kevin Durant.
See, that's what I mean. Like, it makes no difference. Like, why does it matter who starts and who doesn't start?
It's more so who plays when they play. If you get some rotation minutes, like starting doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? It's just that's just one of those ego things where people are, I can't play good if I come off the bench. Like,
yeah, but KD can. That's the difference.
Yeah, KD can play whenever.
KD will come in whenever you want and give you just the most easy 15 points you've ever seen, and then just go home, sleep, and then come out tomorrow. And
KD looks like 2012 Melo for real. If we're being honest,
man, he looking like the best player I've ever seen. But I don't know. Shout out to KD, man. Shout out to KD. Start or not start, he the best scorer on the team.
All right, fellas, moving along. Let me go ahead and put this on the screen. This is what the groups are looking like currently at the moment. Some teams have advanced and some teams are still fighting, but we have 4 teams right now that have punched their tickets to the next stage of the Olympics. This is what we're looking at right now. All right, we got Canada in Group A. They have punched their ticket. And as I was saying yesterday, Greece can still make it. Obviously, Spain and Australia can still make it too. But what they would have to do is Australia and Spain, either of them would just have to win. And then they have to win a point differential, obviously. But Australia plays Greece. So if Australia beats Greece, they'll be good. But Greece has to beat Australia by more than 10 points. And then obviously Canada has to knock off Spain. So that's what we're looking at in Group A currently. Group B, Germany and France have advanced. So Japan and Brazil, unfortunately, you guys will not be going to the next round. And as for Group C, the US of A has advanced as well. And now we have Serbia and South Sudan who will fight it out for the last spot in Group C to advance. So we'll see how that goes between those two. You guys have a prediction on who's going to advance in Group C and Group A?
I think Sudan's about to get worked by Serbia, but they had the athleticism to stay in the game for a while, for sure. Serbia's an interesting team. They're good, but they're also like kind of mid. Like they're good if Jokic and Bogey are playing well, and Jovic is good too, but they're also mid because they just don't have the athleticism like at all. Like they're just very limited in some of the things they can do. And Ox and Mars, if they're not hitting threes, it could be good night versus South Sudan. But I'm saying their ceiling is like really good, arguably second best team in the world. But then they're also, just depending on how they shoot versus South Sudan, they could go.
South Sudan winning, man. We got the coaching advantage.
Oh wow.
South Sudan's good though. Like they really got a unit of guys that get after it. I like their collection of guys. Like they real competitive, and they just know how to play together. They also, I mean, we obviously seen this last night. They got them dudes can shoot. Like don't play with South Sudan because they'll get to they shot 37% from 3 last night. Qual he went 4 for 5 from 3, and Ahmad he went 3 for 5 from 3. They both were on fire. But the other guys too, like Peter Jacques, I remember him. I think he went to Iowa. He got a burner, and also the other guy too. What's his name?
Isn't Jock, Peter Jock? Isn't he related to Bobo? Or did I just make that up?
Oh, they all cousins, boys.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think he's related to Bobo. I might have just made that up, so my fault. I think I'm right. But anyway,
he could potentially be. But I like South Sudan. I like the team that they put together. And when is that game? Because I'm definitely trying to watch that. That's going to be one of the better games in the Olympics.
What, South Sudan versus Serbia?
Yeah.
I got South Sudan winning that.
Me too.
Yeah, I got South Sudan. Sure.
Well, we'll see who prevails.
I want to. Does this is this summer? Do y'all think this is like good for Nikola Jokic? Like, y'all think he's gonna be ready to get some significant minutes? Yeah,
I hope so.
I'm really waiting for him to kind of break out. I think he's gonna be really important for that Miami squad.
Jovic and Khalil Ware and Bam. Nice.
Yeah. He was getting more minutes for them last year. Like he was.
Yeah.
I don't know how significant I'd say, but he was a big part of that rotation.
Right.
So yeah, I think next year. I still don't know how I feel about Duncan Robinson. But yeah, he's a big part of what they got going on. So I expect him to be a bigger part going into next season. Just the size, he can pass, he can shoot. Like he just doesn't do anything bad unless I haven't watched him enough. But for what I see, he's just a solid all-around player. So yeah, I think that's what Miami want. I think he's gonna be a big part of the team next year.
Yeah, I'm not mad at what the Heat got brewing up right now. They obviously just hit. They won the summer league. Obviously, Josh Christopher, he balled out. I think he'll be a good addition on that team.
Two-way, yeah.
Jaime Jaquez, you already know how he played last year. Tyler Hero, hopefully he has a healthy season. They still got Jimmy. You already know they got Bam. I'm not mad at the Khalil Ware pick. I think that was a great pick. But then also we just talked about Jovic. They got these good young guys. And they still got Kevin Love too. Got Terry.
Thank you,
yeah, you know, like let's see what the Heat could do. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Heat do Heat things.
They're gonna be an elite. They're gonna be an elite AC. They're gonna be an elite AC.
Yeah, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. I'm not willing to go to sleep on these Miami Heat. I just can't do it. And then when I look at the young pieces they got, I cannot go to sleep on this Miami Heat team. Bro. I refuse to.
Listen to this, Hawks.
Snoring on Miami.
Boston Celtics, New York Knicks, 76ers.
No.
Magic. Who else is in there? The Pacers. There's another team in there. Who have I not said? Mars.
Did you say the Bucks?
I said the Bucks.
You said the Cavs.
The Cavs. So the Cavs, and then the Heat. Those are S8 teams. Do you think next year the Heat can be like in the top?
The Heat can play. The Heat can play with all of those teams except for Boston.
They can on a night, on any given night, they can, but over an 82-game season, are they going to have that consistency to be above a top 6 seed?
They might be in the play-in. They might be a playing team, but I think that they could, steal a 6, 7, 8, something like that. I don't know. But in a 7-game series, I think they only can't beat New York and Boston.
Swipe it. And those 8 teams that you mentioned in the East too, I don't want to hear this year that the East is weak because those are all 8 good ass teams.
Last year the East was hurt. That's a big reason why it was weak. Because Giannis goes down, Dame was dealing with injuries, Jalen Brunson ends up getting hurt, Joel's hurt. The East has good teams. They just ended up being hurt last year. Even Boston before Porzingis was hurt. Like every team is dealing with injuries. Donovan Mitchell, Jarrett Allen. Like that's why it was being cool. Not because the teams are hurt.
The Heat might be better than the West if everybody's healthy.
Yo, so I got one more question for y'all. Before
you said the Heat or the East?
The East.
East better at what?
Than the West.
Basketball, polo, Domino,
Lacrosse.
spades.
Before we move on, y'all, I got one more question for Team USA. So
Better
Steve
be
Kerr
Kings.
already said that Joel Embiid is going to start.
What?
Who gets benched? If you guys have to
Jason
put your money
Tatum.
Tatum.
It's gonna be Jason Tatum.
No. Okay. 2 questions. Who gets benched and who doesn't play?
Tatum
Halliburton.
and Hallie. Yeah, same thing.
Tatum and
Yeah,
Hallie.
Hallie's going right back to his DM keys. And
Aren't they playing Puerto Rico?
Yeah.
Everybody plays. They stay by the middle.
Okay,
of the third,
they'll yeah, this game means nothing. Yeah, they will play with 12.
Come
Yeah,
on, everybody's going to get significant minutes.
My fault. Yeah,
If anything, if that's the case, LeBron shouldn't play. He should get arrested.
Facts.
Yeah,
now you spin like
this is where you rest the old guys. Yeah, this is where you rest the old guys. Yeah,
that might be the move.
You should have rested Embiid again. Why not? Yeah, they already do. Okay, yeah, I never think
like
about that.
KD, Bron,
why not? Hallie start,
all the 30 pluses.
Yeah, everyone who's old, we're just gonna put you on the bench. KD, Steph, LeBron, AD, just gonna put you on the bench. We're gonna start Hallie and Book, JT, and Bam. And then
Steve Kerr gotta walk in like, hey, if you're 34 and up, raise your hand. Because I don't know everybody's ages. 34 and up, raise your hand.
I know y'all
see
seen Hallie on his way to a legacy game last night. Came in and hit the first 2 threes.
Mm-hmm.
Said,
legacy game.
How many more shots he got?
You really pissed me off with that.
He shot one more shot after that.
How many did you make?
2.
Mars, right? You know what? I'm not gonna deal with your shit today, Mars. All right. But fellas, I got something for you guys. I got a decent segment I would like to say. But before we get into this, let me tell everybody, make sure you like the video, subscribe, keep turning up chat. Shout out to everybody that sent through super chats, and shout out to all of our Hall of Fame members by the name of Kendall Daniels, Dorian Clayton, Cobra Son of Raditz, and Multi Kenny. I appreciate y'all for holding it down and doing what y'all do best as Hall of Famers. All right, fellas, let's get into this. I got a question for you guys. Well, actually, let me wait for Chill to get up here. We can't do this without Chill. So while we waiting for Chill, I'm just going to read some super chats, and then we'll segue. But I got a couple members. 2 Chill Dre became a member today. Shout out to him. Limitless 888 also became a member. Big ups to those 2. Thanks for joining the party. Have some fun while you're here. Goat James said, Stockton, just the 90s TJ McConnell. 6-foot math teacher. Trash.
What's wrong with respect TJ McConnell? He's not trash. But, well, shout out to TJ, man. I'll go back.
Void Century said, can we have a segment glazing my boy Bam? Can we show Bam some love?
Already happened.
I mean, yeah, that's the 4th best center in the NBA. Shout out to Bam.
Want to be a center?
4th or 5th.
DeMontis?
5th,
Where's he at?
5th or 6th.
He's better than some else. But
you want to take that, Ox?
I'm tired of this. I've been doing.
Ox has Sabonis. Anyone else who's not loyal to Sacramento has Bam. This is what it is.
Wow,
no, that's not true.
And that one guy who voted.
A lot of people that aren't Sacramento Kings fans that can obviously understand that Bam's better, that Sabonis is better. But that's no disrespect. That's no disrespect to Bam. Bam's amazing.
He is.
Actually, I've had Sabonis over Bam for all of these years.
Who's the better playoff scorer between Bam and Sabonis, Ron?
The better playoff scorer?
Who's the better basketball player? Can we just ask?
Bam. The answer's Bam.
Who's the better basketball player?
Think about it is I haven't seen Sabonis in like the same clip of games as I've seen Bam. Like we've seen a big sample size of Bam in the playoffs.
Wonder why?
I've seen Sabonis in like the reason
why
is he was.
How do you think Bam would do versus De'Aaron Fox?
Well, I mean, if Sabonis was in Miami with those teams with Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra, I'm assuming he would have more playoff series too.
They wouldn't have beat the Bucks.
Yeah. More, maybe some more playoff series, yeah. But by like
they wouldn't have beat the Bucks. I like Bam. I like Sabonis too, but that defense from Bam against Giannis is very important. So
yeah, shout out to Sabonis though. He cool. He a top 10 center in the league for sure.
All right, Brian Pumper. Y'all know who Brian Pumper is. He said, can't sing Kurt.
Can't say the benching isn't taking a toll on JT. I've never seen him brick a 3 like that before, Kurt.
Well, just to be fair, that's also Eric Spoelstra made that decision. So
I've also have seen him hit the side of the backboard.
I've seen many players hit the side of the backboard, including
I've
LeBron.
seen LeBron do it in practice.
I've seen LeBron do it in a game.
Yeah, but I've seen him do it in practice. That's even worse. How you practice in a wide open 3 and hit the side of the backboard? Crazy. Go. Interesting.
DSG Piccolo said, man, Swiper and Mars got robbed last night. Also, WUSA basketball, 3-on-3 women been selling.
What happened after I left?
That's the Cameron Brink is hurt.
Oh, I was campaigning for you to be let back because you got cheated, and then they just proceeded to cheat me and Will. So,
What? How'd you get cheated though? What happened?
So the first question they asked us, they got the question wrong, but I got it right and I had to correct them. And then they asked us a question about they asked the Warriors guys a question, and it said to the nearest 10th. Like if you get it within the nearest 10th, you get the question right. They were 4 tenths off and got given the question as right. So I was there campaigning, trying to say we got cheated, but they just weren't trying to hear it. But I've got my apology from KB. It's cool. He said it was his.
Well, nearest 10th as in closest to 10 at 0.6 or 0.4.
Well, the way he said the question was, what was Mark Jackson's winning percentage as the Warriors head coach to the nearest 10th? So anyone who I thought understood mathematics would know that a 10th is the first number after the decimal. That's how mathematics works. So when they say 53%, but the answer is 52.6, I would think that's not within a 10th. But somehow I'm wrong. So they got the question right, even though they were 4 tenths off. So I was there trying to campaign, but people were just trying to get the Rockets out. You know, Rockets, Warriors, they be cheating us. It's cool. But
Ron.
KB apologized to us after the fact. It is what it is. We lost. We understand. Scott Foster had to have a say. We was on a Warriors platform against the Warriors. We're the Rockets. I get it. It is what it is.
The first one was so egregious, Ron. The first question that was asked, the first question to us was who's leading the Denver Nuggets in all-time 50-point games? And I asked for regular season. When I was told regular season, said it was Alice English, and then was told the answer was wrong. And then asked about it after the question passed and said, "Are you sure?" And then people in the chat were spamming, and I'm like, I know I'm not tripping. So then went back, looked it up, and then he said it was Jamal Murray, but he had regular season and playoffs in there, which Jamal Murray's at 3. And
it made me appreciate Ron's hosting so much more.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
thank you, KB, in the game.
The criticism I've heard from certain people about Ron's hosting, and then me going through that.
Oh yeah.
From the people who criticize Ron's hosting.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I realized they can't do what Ron does. So I'm like, you know what? I see why they criticize him. They hating from outside the club. They can't host like Ron. So you know what?
He was a host. Hey, to be fair, he was a co-host yesterday.
Yeah, I gained newfound respect for Ron. The man who was the most vocal criticizing Ron was one of the worst hosts I ever seen.
Just saying, college point guards trying to tell actual NBA point guards how to run the show.
Yeah, I get it, man. Nah, see, you know what, Ron? I found newfound respect for you yesterday. I watched the PCL after we were absolutely robbed. And I seen the Oaks get cooked, man. It put a smile on my face. That was great, man. Shout out to Kaiser.
I'm happy. I'm happy I
be 0-2. He's now 0-2.
Hey, we go get to the PCL in a second.
I'm happy I could do that for you, Morris.
Yeah, man. Made me happy after I experienced robbery, man. Shout out to us.
But back to DSG Piccolo super chat. He said, WUSA basketball, and he said 3-on-3 women have been selling. Have you guys been keeping up with the 3-on-3?
I know they've lost.
If Cameron Brink stopped playing,
yeah, but I do think that's probably a big reason why.
Haley, you know Haley Van Lith gonna sell. That's what she does best.
You are crazy.
That's crazy. She's like 20 and getting dubbed like that. That's nuts. Not by you, Ox, just like general the way people are like blaming her.
That's her problem. That's her problem.
I've watched her play one game and she had the worst performance from a guard I've ever seen. So.
She want to bounce around NC2A, looking for NIL deals and trying to chase championships and getting cooked. That's her problem. I'm gonna hold her accountable.
I do want to let you guys know that the 3-on-3 teams, men and women, are all defeated. I think the women are 0-3 and the men are 0-2.
They should have recruited people from the big 3, and I'm not trolling with that. They should have. Bring in Michael Beasley. Bring in Jeff Teague. I don't know. Bring in whoever else is out there playing in the big three. Mario Chalmers. That's what they should have done. They could have won. You telling me Michael Beasley ain't bringing home gold in 3-on-3?
Coutinho Mobley would be cruising right now.
Man, come on, man.
So it's just Coutinho, Mobley, ISO Joe,
bro. Even in their 40s.
Bringing guys from the big three. They're playing 3-on-3 basketball. What 6 months out of the year, and you know they can hoop. Like,
we need Mike Beasley, Joe Johnson, and Coutinho Mobley. Let's get it.
They would never.
I don't know about Coutinho.
No, but he's still hooping though, bro.
Nah, but how old Coutinho now? He's
got to be. He's got to be 50.
Yeah, like I don't know about that, but Michael Beasley for sure. Like Michael Beasley would bring him gold in 3-on-3. I'm certain. But
shoot, Melo needs to stop playing and go ahead and get in 3-on-3.
Bring Melo.
Imagine Melo.
You can't do that. You know that the 3-on-3 is too open. You got to move your feet. Melo's not going to move his feet. He's going to be getting cooked.
They don't be playing no defense, bro. They be hacking.
From the limited sample I've watched,
hey,
I don't think Michael Beasley and Melo defensively is going to cost them a goal. If I'm honest.
And Ox, think about it, if it was make it take it with Melo on the court, it's wraps. He ain't missing.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't know. My thing is like it's a whole pool of obviously NBA players in everything, and it's like I just don't understand. Like somebody like, and I'm just throwing him out there. For instance, I'm not holding him accountable or anything, but it's just the first guy that came to mind. Darius Garland, for instance. Not doing anything. Hey, go out there cooking a 3-on-3. My thing is, I would think more players would actually want to do it. Just be like, yo, I'm about to go over here to Paris and get some buckets right quick.
I wouldn't do it because you get $5 for every gold medal you win. I got other stuff to do.
You see, that's what I'm saying.
Not for the love of the game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The games become
you play 82 games in the season. I get enough love for the game doing that.
Okay, and Ox, he's over there probably working out 3 hours a day. So you still like either way,
right? He's actually getting better, working on his game. I don't got time.
He'll be over there working on his game too.
They better not be just doing 3 hours a day, bro. They better not be.
Swiping 3 hours a day is a lot.
No, it's not.
If you're working right, if you're with the right trainer, you're putting in the right work.
No, I'm not.
3 hours.
Yeah, I'm not in the mind. We do 3 hours a day just doing this. If you ain't doing no prep or training outside of this, then you ain't getting better. There's no way. No,
you got to rest your body too.
My thing is like I'm all with the 2 a days and stuff like that. But if you're getting in 2 1.5 hour workouts and you're doing the right things and you're going high intensity,
as a pro,
that's more than enough.
I mean, bro. Kobe, you getting up at 4 a.m., bro. We're
not talking about Kobe. That's different.
All right, fellas. I got a couple more super chats. Void Century said you can make Bam primary and still keep Jimmy. You need to move Hero and Duncan Robinson for a lead guard.
Move Hero, please, but they can't get nothing back for Hero. That's the problem.
You can move Hero to the bench as a rotation guy because that's his best role. You do not need to move off of him. No, move him to the bench and he can be a rotation guard, which like Malik Monk, here we go again. I'm sorry. Like Malik Monk, like Naz Reid, guys like that coming off the bench being instant offense. He can be so much better for that Miami Heat team. You put him in a role that he's not suited for as a lead guard. He's not. That's not his game.
Y'all tripping. I'm not coming off a Hero for nothing. I mean, it's obviously something.
For nothing.
But no, it's obviously something. Like everything has a price. But I'm saying, like, if clearly they value Hero, and
yes, they do.
I stand with them. I think Hero got it like that. Ken 10 said that trans boxer y'all talked about the other day was not trans. Y'all owe her an apology and shouldn't be so quick to jump on incorrect transphobic BS.
Cap,
that boxer just fought today, and the woman she fought against forfeited within 45 seconds.
And Angela Carini,
because they landed one clean punch, and there's a reason why she failed. She failed, and she wasn't eligible for the last championship she tried to participate in because she failed gender eligibility test. So if she's not trans, she has boosted testosterone that would make it unfair for her to compete in combat sports against women. So fine, call her a woman, that's fine. She's more than likely intersex, more than likely. And I think in combat sports, it's probably unfair for her to compete against other women. I think that's unfair. I'm gonna stand.
Yeah,
with
man.
So
fight your chromosomes and be happy with it. So fight your chromosomes. But Angela Carini quit for a reason. She didn't even want to fight for a reason.
All right, fellas. I
None
gotta.
of us said that though. None of us.
I got a
which one of
segment
us
for
said
us,
that?
fellas.
Which
We're
one of
gonna
us said
move
that?
on. We're gonna move on. I got a segment for us. I want to ask you guys what's more intriguing, and I got a couple different options, and you guys tell me in this next season what do you think will be more entertaining, more intriguing, or more interesting, and ultimately what you would like to see. So the first one is: would you guys rather see the Celtics go back to back or Nuggets and Bucks finals?
Nobody wants to see Celtics go back to back. Nobody.
No, you don't want to see the Celtics go back to
I mean,
back.
You're a
I
Celtics
said.
fan.
Wait,
I
no,
forgot. My bad.
you
Chill.
said
Definitely want to do
the
that.
who are the Celtics playing in the finals to go back to back?
That's
Yeah,
first
who
of
they're
all.
playing.
Let's
I think
discuss
that's
that.
important.
What if they're playing Denver in the finals? How about that?
Knowing their luck, chill. They're playing the Kings. The bracket fell their way.
Nuggets
The
and Bucks.
Celtics?
Nuggets and Bucks.
We don't want the Celtics. We cool.
Yeah, Nuggets and Bucks.
So Mars would rather see Nuggets and Bucks. Chill.
Other than the Celtics and Kings, yeah.
I would rather see the Celtics back in the NBA.
Of course he would. Tatum would have
Yes,
two
I would.
championships.
Yeah, just like you want to see the Denver Nuggets back in the championship.
Oh, so what, you admit you're a fan of the Celtics then?
No, I'm not admitting that. I'm admitting that you are more of that. That's the difference.
What?
I'm a Jason Tatum fan. That's the difference.
Would you rather see the Celtics win their second championship and essentially start a dynasty, or would you rather see the Nuggets and Bucks?
I'd rather see the Celtics. I'd rather see the Celtics for sure.
Okay.
I mean, Al Horford with 2 rings. So come on, first ballot Hall of Famer, baby.
Ox already got them running off championships. He said that before the season started last year, that he got the Celtics running off championships. Plural,
three of the next 5, and they already got one of them. So
yeah, he already got 2 of the next 4. So,
all right, what would be more intriguing? A first round matchup of the Thunder and the Spurs, or the Mavs and the Rockets?
Thunder and Spurs any day.
What they doing here?
Luke has done unforgivable things to my team. I'm not watching a 7-game series.
I got a question. If the Spurs make the playoffs, where's Wemby in the MVP race?
4th, 5th.
I mean, it depends. Maybe they get to the playoffs on the back of Devin Vassell.
That's a fact.
Yeah, we can't assume anything. I don't know yet.
I think it's fair to assume that if they make the playoffs, it's going to be largely due to Victor Wembanyama if they make the playoffs.
Well,
it could be because Devin Vassell takes that Tyrese Maxey league. You didn't think about that, did you?
I mean,
exactly.
I did
That's
think
not
about
that crazy.
that.
It's the 3rd best center in the NBA, so it's like
4th or 5th.
You better than AD? Better than Embiid? Which one? Pick one.
Or Jokic. That's like he's just immune.
Well, we know what Ron's not doing, but who's he in front of then, Ron?
Well, he's a shooting guard, so
I classify AD as a power forward still.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought we was talking about. I thought we was talking about Devin Vassell. I didn't know how we got the Wemby being the top.
Well,
I am talking about Wemby. He's a shooting guard. It's not even a center. He plays the 2.
That sounds crazy. But if
Thunder and Spurs or Mavs and Rockets, fellas, who y'all?
Thunder and Spurs for me.
Mavs and Rockets.
Definitely Thunder and Spurs, because that's the future of the NBA, Ron. Victor Wembanyama is the future of the NBA, and the NBA needs
Wemby.
that. Yes,
Chet versus Wemby.
That's
going to feed families for generations.
And Chet trying to do that crossover nonsense on Wemby like he did last year and getting it blocked out the universe.
Not even well. Take it a step further than that, Swiper. The idea that Wemby really looks at Chet as inferior. He does.
Yo, Wemby is funny to me, chill, bro.
He is, yo. He looks at Chet like, yo, why is this dude here? He has nothing for me. And Wemby, and Chet is like, yo, this dude really think I'm whack. Okay, let's get to the bottom of that. I think that could generate a real
Wemby
legit
is built the right way, bro. I love the way he thinks, man.
And do you know where that comes from? From what I understand, I think they were in. It wasn't FIBA, but it was something international where Chet ended up winning over Wemby. And this whole thing started with Wemby just looking at him like, I can't believe that this dude beat me or you picked him over me. And now it's just become something. And ever since I see these guys playing against each other, he looks at Chet like Chet is inferior to him. Like, why is this dude here?
Chet's good, too.
Chet is awesome.
He could be a top 20 player next year. He's good.
He's the difference in what Oklahoma City did last year. I think he's the difference in that. And with all of that being said, Wimby looking at Chet like, man, get this dude out of here, yo. He can't cover me. Not
when
him.
he literally stuffed Chet's stuff back in his face. Was that in OKC? Anybody remember that game when he blocked that shot on Chet?
I remember what you're talking about.
It was like towards the end of the game too, bro. Like,
on the step back jumper.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Chet
go work on shot creation. He'll be there.
Did y'all see Chet cooking?
Yeah, Chet he'll play well.
Later in the video, maybe, or later in the stream, maybe I could put up the Chet clip of him cooking in open gym. But shout out to Chet. Just looking.
Oh, so that matters. But when it's Lonzo,
Chet actually played last season, and he's actually more than likely going to play next season.
And so is Lonzo.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, okay. What would be more intriguing for you guys? SGA MVP or Luka MVP?
SGA.
We've been talking about Luka. We've been talking about Luka being the league MVP for how long now?
Fourth. This will be the fourth offseason. He'll be a top 3 candidate.
And this last season was the highest he finished, which was what, third or fourth, something like that?
No, did he not come?
No.
It was fourth in his second year? Was it
Joker and Embiid. That was 18-19. It was fourth. Which the 18-19 or 19-20?
The 2020 year. 2020 was it fourth he came?
That was LeBron, LeBron. Third was
I know Anthony Davis finished 6th that year. Was Leonard involved in that?
No. I mean, maybe 1920. Who was
2019, 2020? Was James Harden involved in that?
James?
No,
James
James
wasn't that high.
So James
2020 James. 2020 James might have been third.
Giannis won it. Giannis won it.
I'm betting it's James Harden that year. Was third.
I'm gonna look up. Let's just get it.
Right.
Yeah, James was third. Yeah. Okay. Luka was fourth. And since we've been taught, and Mars, I mean, I don't think they were talking about him that high in terms of winning it after his first year. I mean, I'm sure that the conversation with Luka, I'm sure that the conversation was around Luka. But since he's been favored to win it, I think he finished 6th. I think he finished 8th. I think not this season that just passed, but the year before that, I think he finished 7th. He got hurt.
4th. I think it was because SGA was 4th. I think 2 years ago. I think Luka might have been 5th or 6th. He might have been 6th. Because Tatum was 5th. I think that year. And then I think before that, that was the 20. Are we on 22-23 now?
22-23.
21-22. We're on 21-22.
Yeah.
So Jokic, Embiid, Giannis. 4th that year would have been.
Who would it have been in 2020? 2023?
No, 21-22.
21-20.
That's the year the Suns won 64 games. So was it Chris Paul?
Booker? Oh no, CP3 was 4th that year.
It was one of them. Chris Paul. It was Chris Paul or Devin Booker. It was one of them. It was one of the Suns.
It was Devin Booker that year.
Devin Booker that year.
Chris Paul it was Jokic at 1, Embiid at 2, Giannis at. This was 22. We're talking about, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so it was Joker. I mean, it was Joker. He won it that year. Joel Embiid came 2nd. Giannis was 3rd. Book was 4th. Luka was 5th.
Yeah, that's right. And then CP3 was 4th the year before that.
In 21, yes,
yeah,
that was the year that
that's
they
crazy.
went to the final.
The Suns had 2 back-to-back top 4 finishes. That's dope.
And that was the year in 22. They won. Didn't they win 60-something games? I thought
64.
They were.
Games. Yeah.
I thought they
then
were headed back to the
dog walking game 7.
Yeah, I thought they were headed back to the. I thought they had a legit shot to go back to where they were.
You think they could have beat the Warriors?
Warriors.
I think
that was the 22 Warriors in the Western Conference Finals.
Suns?
Yeah.
I think they had a better chance than the Celtics did.
No. Than the Mavs. If they would have,
they would have done better than Dallas did. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think they would have won. Maybe.
Steph didn't go crazy in that series, but he didn't. Wiggins more so stepped up in Poole and them, but
Kevon Looney too.
Looney.
Yeah, Looney was just Dennis Rodman rebounding.
He was going crazy.
Calling him a lot.
Yo, Big Ox.
What up?
Luka or SGA MVP? What would be more intriguing to you next year?
What would be more intriguing?
Yeah. What would you like to see?
I mean, if I got to pretend. All
right. Just say it. De'Aaron Fox.
No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just saying, like, what would be more intriguing would have to be to me. Will probably have to be Luka because this is like, well, I mean, because if I'm voting, right, that would mean that Luka decided, okay, you know what, I'm gonna play some consistent defense. And like I said, if Luka decides to play some consistent defense, that's a bad dude. Like he's probably the best player in the league if he starts playing some defense. So I would like to see that. So I'm gonna go with Luka Doncic.
What does it mean for Luka if he would? Because I'm thinking about SGA winning the league MVP, and it would kind of be. It wouldn't be out of nowhere because he is building up to that. But what would it mean for Luka for him to win the league MVP? Would it be more of a sigh of relief, or would it be more confirmation of what everybody already thinks that he is? Not everybody, but
like Luka, for Luka.
Yeah. What would this mean for Luka?
Probably nothing. Luka probably feel like he's the MVP anyway. You know, he probably one of them dudes like, man, about time. You know what I'm saying?
He kind of, when it comes to the regular season, he kind of is though. Like Luka is throughout those 82 games. Luka is goated. From what we've seen in the last 5 years,
I don't know about goated, but
hey, man, like,
that's a little far around, but he's dope.
Bro,
for sure.
Over the last 5 years, if we talk about who's consistently had the best, if we're talking about just performances, stats, and things like that, if we're throwing out just individual performances, get wins and all of that out of here, we're just talking about.
He'd be the fourth best player in the last 5 years.
If we get wins out of it, Ron, what are we talking for?
I'm just talking about just the way
Ron,
you play, the numbers you put up.
Yeah, what about Giannis though?
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
That's what I was thinking about. Giannis. How about Joker?
It's between those two.
Just in the regular season.
Just in the regular season. It's between Giannis, Joker, and Luka.
Well, no. We can't cut out Embiid out of that.
Wait, what's between who and what? What are we talking about?
He's saying the best floor, basically the best. I think what you're arguing is floor raiser. Would you say best floor raiser in the regular season?
No, I'm just talking.
We're talking about performances without wins and losses. No wins and losses.
So why is Embiid not being mentioned?
I don't know.
I think Luka got Embiid.
In what?
Based on what, Ron?
Respectfully, Embiid plays better than Giannis in the regular season. I'm sorry, there's no way. Like the last 2 years, Embiid has played better than Giannis. In the
Ron said the
barring
last
injury. Barring injury. Was he?
But even in the last 4 years, though, chill. Embiid since 2020.
We can say what we want about the playoffs. If we're talking strictly regular season,
no, we're talking about the 82 games, Mars. We ain't talking about.
Yeah, we aren't about to dismiss.
He was better in a 51 game sample size in 2020-21. He was better in a 66 game sample size in 2021-22. He was definitely better in a 66 game sample size in 2022-23. And then even this last year, he was better than him in a 34 game sample size in 2023-24. But again, if you're saying all season, then Luka was better because he wasn't hurt.
Just stay right there, Swiper. Just in the 34 game sample size. Okay,
he was the best in the league.
I don't think that was a question. If we rewind, what was it? 20. I want to say 23. Wasn't Giannis like 30 and 13?
Yeah,
and he was playing all league and he was playing all league defense. He was an all-league defender.
And Embiid played better.
Yeah, 30, 12, and 6 on 60% from the field.
Based on what, Mars? What are you basing that on? Are you
because we all watched the 23 season, and there's a reason no one was saying Giannis deserved the MVP over Embiid because we all saw what was happening. This is revisionist history because Joel Embiid either underperforms in the playoffs or is hurt. Because at the end of the time, we was on the panel in the 23 season, no one was saying Giannis was playing better than Embiid. Mm-hmm. So why are we acting like now, a year removed from the situation, Giannis played better than Embiid? We wasn't saying that. So what's changed? Have we gone back and watched 23 Giannis and changed our minds?
No, we haven't done that. But for sake of conversation, Mars, we talking about how good Joel Embiid was. I think he led the league in scoring twice.
Yeah,
back-to-back years.
Yep, he led the league.
I would have done it this year, but he wasn't eligible because of the
the year that he missed it. I think that was the year. I think that was the 22 year, if I'm not mistaken. That was the year.
No, he led the league in scoring that year.
Was it 22?
Yeah, it was this past year that he didn't lead the league in scoring only because he didn't play enough games.
Well, they talked about him. They talked about him winning the league MVP, but he missed 10 games or something like that.
What year?
I think it was 22. That was
which player?
Well, he only won MVP in 23, so that
it was 20. It was 21. That was the year because
the 2021 season.
Yeah, because
where
he played 51 games out of 72 games.
He would have won it if he ain't missed some time.
They were the number one seed that year. Remember?
Now, to your point, Mars. Okay, this season, 100%. No, 23-24 in the small sample size. That year, they won the NBA championship. Was Embiid better than Giannis that year?
In the regular season,
you could
very easily say Embiid played better than Giannis in the regular season.
Giannis hasn't had, chill, to be honest with you, an elite MVP season, like I mean like Giannis 18-20 since the 2019-20 season. Now the 2021 season, remember he was
what about last season? What about last season?
I don't agree. I don't agree with that.
So what I'm saying, relative to what people expect from Giannis, last year was a defense thing with Giannis. And I think his on-court impact has dropped because his games played has dropped steadily the last 3 seasons. I don't think that's his fault.
But
I think
73 games. We just talked about this yesterday.
Who?
I just had to.
Giannis just played 73 games.
Yeah, he did.
If we're including the availability, then we can't. Yeah,
Giannis.
If
it just looks different.
We can't say Embiid. Yeah, we can't say
but it looks different. It looks different for Giannis because he sold Drew for Dame, and it just didn't work out the same way. But if he still had Drew over there instead of Dame, he probably would have got MVP this year.
Fellas,
wait, hold on. We're having multiple conversations. So hold on. So you're saying he played this last year. So yeah, so it was 60, that's what I mean, 60, 67, 63, and 73. So this last year. So the other side of this is you think that had he not traded for Dame Lillard that he would have won MVP last year?
Yeah, it just would have looked better. It would have been, more impactful with Dame. With Drew,
I mean, but they slid defensively too. Like, so that's what I'm.
Yeah, because there's no Drew. Drew over there instead of Dame, they don't slide defensively.
But it's also, I think that's Giannis's like hallmark. Is what puts him in that convo is that he's like this otherworldly defender. So I think that
I don't know about all that. I've never considered
that's the conversation about it. Whether or not you agree.
Gotcha. Okay, for sure.
Because like offensively, he's not like a top 5 player.
With Drew over there instead of Dame. So when you sell Drew for Dame, then it slips. You know what I'm saying? You need when you're an elite defender, you need other good defenders to help you be elite. You know what I'm saying? And Dame's just not that.
The last 2 regular seasons, Embiid has played better than Giannis when they've both been available, and I don't think that's arguable. Going back to 22 and 21, we can have the conversation. I think it is a conversation. But even then, going back 4 years, I still think Embiid is... My issue is Ron leaving Embiid out, just saying it's Jokic, Giannis, and Luka.
Well, that's
my issue. I'm not saying Embiid is clearing anyone, but saying he's not in that group of people, I think is just wrong.
I mean, my thing with it is, like, yes, Embiid can be in there. I'm not mad at Embiid. I just think, like, when it comes to regular season performers, we know that... I mean, we do know that Joel's going to ball. We know Giannis is going to ball. We know Jokic is going to ball. But like when I just look at the numbers, and that's why I say get the wins out of there, get all of that out of there. When I just look at the numbers, I know Luka's gonna give me relatively 39 and 9. And I'm just saying, like, when it comes to regular season performing, that is ridiculous.
Is that better?
I'm just looking at stats.
Is that better than 30, 10, and 5 though? Like consistently?
But Swipe it. Let me jump in there with you, Swipe it. Let me get in this canoe with you. Because if we're only talking about the numbers,
please don't say Sabonis, please.
Gotta talk about the Sabonis.
Here we go.
Gotta talk about the Sabonis.
He had a 19, 12, and 8 year 2 years ago.
That's amazing.
So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like, so yeah,
that's amazing.
Joel over the last 3 regular seasons is 32, 11, 4.5, while being one of the best rim protectors in basketball.
Ron, how can you leave that out?
Come on,
I don't like Embiid, bro.
What the hell is wrong with you, bro?
We can add Embiid in there for sure.
That was my whole issue. My whole issue was leaving Embiid out.
We can add him in there, like, okay, you could come on.
Like you're giving him a pity inclusion. Like
it's like he did get a pity MVP. So
yeah, that's why I said that. But like,
all right, so we got to get back to the segment though. And by the way, I ran a poll, and Luka and Embiid both finished at 31%. I asked you guys, who do you think is the better regular season performer? Luke and Embiid both had 31%.
That's crazy.
Giannis had 13.
They just ignored
There's one MVP between those 2 players.
They ignored Jokic on the poll. They just thought of it as Embiid versus Luka. That's how they did it. They ignored Jokic is undoubtedly the best regular season performer of all of these guys. So they just ignored him and then just went with Embiid and Luka. So I'm fine with it. Shout out to Giannis coming last, by the way.
Yeah, shout Malone and Barkley better regular season players than Michael Jordan. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The next question I got for you guys: what is more intriguing? A rookie of the year from Khalil Ware or a rookie of the year from Zach Edey?
Zach Edey would be amazing.
Zach Edey.
That would be amazing.
He's the rookie of the year.
To go from being what he was called before the draft to getting rookie of the year, and then especially given that he slid to 9. Some people he was drafted too high at 9 to get 9 at Memphis and get rookie of the year with JaMorant. That means Ja had a great season, which I'm all here for. I think Josh going to have a 27-5-6 season next year. 27-5-7. I think it's going to go crazy.
Ox thought he should have been the best pick. Ox thought he should have been the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, this draft might look like that.
I think Edie will be much happier in Memphis than he would be in Atlanta. So,
yeah, no doubt.
I gotta ask you.
Why is that? Wait, why is that, Mars? I mean, he's playing with a distributor. He's playing with a distributor. He's playing with a playmaker in Trae Young. I won't argue that.
Because
Trae's going to get him the
Edie
ball.
can be hidden defensively much better in Memphis than he can be in Atlanta. Atlanta are one of the worst defenses in the league every year.
I'd much rather be in Memphis.
And also, JaMorant is great in pick and roll too. So, like, Trae's better than JaMorant as a playmaker. But Edie's biggest problem for looking forward is going to be how can he defend. Memphis have the pieces that complement him much better than Atlanta do. So he'll be much better.
Ja will give him the ball in that pick and roll too, though.
For sure.
Like, Trae might be a better distributor, but Ja's still gonna get him the ball.
Yeah. Now,
I'd much rather play Memphis than Atlanta.
If the Miami Heat do get Khalil Ware to get Rookie of the Year, though, that would be great back-to-back rookie picks for them in the first round. And those are nice foundational pieces next to Bam.
100%.
Wait, but what was you about to say, Ron? You was about to ask me something?
Don't worry about it. We're gonna move on to the next one. What would be more intriguing? Eastern Conference Finals matchup of the Celtics and the Knicks, or Western Conference Finals matchup of the Wolves and the Thunder?
Celtics and Knicks, not even a question.
Gotta see that. That's must-see TV.
The Celtics are mopping the Knicks. The Wolves and Thunder.
You think so? Even this new Knicks team?
They serve them.
Yeah,
because
this new Celtics team is going to have Porzingis.
I'm not asking Chill because I know what he thinks. He's a Tatum guy. Mars and Ron.
Yes,
Because
this new Celtics team is going to have Porzingis.
That's going to 7, yo. That's going to 7, yo.
I think so.
The Celtics are basically coming into the playoffs next year with an addition.
Maybe
Julius Randle at the 5 in that series to spread. See if we can spread him out. I know I don't want Julius on the team. I'm Mars. I'm saying that they got if he has to be there, put him at the 5, put them wings around him. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's go, Chill. Brunson versus JT, best player in the series. Let's get it.
Celtics in a hard thought 5.5 game.
What are you shaking your head for? That would be a great matchup.
Oh, I think it'll be fantastic, 100%.
What are you shaking your head for?
The reason why is
you ain't Ray Charles.
The reason why is because I was about to say the Denver Nuggets. I'm sorry. The reason why is because Boston's offense is better than the Knicks' defense.
Oh.
That's going to be the difference in the series. That right there, as good as the Knicks are, or as good as the Knicks can translate offense with their defense, they just don't have enough offense to deal with the Boston Celtics. Where it's coming from, how it's coming, how frequently they're getting buckets. We're talking about a Boston Celtic team.
You think your man's is scoring on OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges whenever he wants?
I think if I'm not mistaken, last season, I think he averaged something like 34 or 35 a game against Mikal Bridges.
In the regular season? With the Nets?
Yeah, he averaged like 35.
Oh, with the Nets? Oh, you're right.
We just got finished talking about
you could average 12 right now versus that defense.
No, I could not. Absolutely not. No, I could not. I couldn't average 2 points, maybe 4. I don't know. We just got finished talking about how awesome Joel Embiid or Joker in the regular season was. Now we're going to talk about a dude who's averaging against a premier defender in Mikal Bridges, where he's averaging 30 plus a game against him. 30 plus. No,
but you're saying the Nets, Jalen Brunson.
Okay.
I'm talking about a brand new team in a brand new scenario. Guess what? Dante DiVincenzo, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, and Josh Hart. Those are all the wing defenders they can throw at him. So that's what I'm saying. That's why it will be a great series. I would love to see that series. And I hope JT rises to the occasion and gets it done. That'd be great.
I think it would be a great series. But Swiper, the elephant in the room is the Jalen Brunson 8 for 28, 7 for 30. That part. Can they survive that? No, they can't.
Excuse me, Jason Tatum fan?
No. Now, here's the
difference. You don't get to say that.
I 100%
you do not get to say that.
You know why I get to say that? The reason why I get to say that is because he does more. That's why they survived.
Oh, gosh.
He does more.
Well, it looks like Jalen Brunson did more in the playoffs last year than JT did.
Championship. So if you add those other
he had 4 straight games of 40 and 10, basically.
Who had 40? Who had 4?
Brunson. Because you brought up 8 of 28.
He also had 3 straight games, 8 for 28.
When? What series was this?
Against Philadelphia. Against Philadelphia.
3? It wasn't 3 straight games. You're capping.
It was
2 games.
Okay, so
first 2 games. Chill. You don't got to lie on Jalen Brunson to protect your man. You know what? Just because Jalen Brunson wanted to sacrifice for his team and Jason Tatum wanted the highest paid contract in NBA history because he's selfish, just because you don't like that. Don't mean you got slander Jalen Brunson.
All right, fellas, we gotta move on. Last night was Wednesday, and in case you don't know, on Wednesdays here on the Players' Choice platform, we are doing the PCL, which is the best NBA debate league on the planet Earth. And we had a few matchups last night, and they were fairly well. It started off with matchup of the day, voted by you guys. Yeah, y'all seen it. Jack Cody versus Dion from Ohio.
That wasn't as bad as y'all. That was actually better than advertised, yo.
No, I need to talk to this man. Ox was like, yeah, Jack really know. Jack gonna win. He be trolling. He either committed to the troll or he's. We should get him checked out.
What the first question? I'm sorry. I just wanted any clarification here. Because I tuned in, but I had to do a show later. I had 2 shows back to back. I tuned in at PCL. I thought I couldn't believe my ears, Ron. I couldn't believe my ears. Did I hear a LeBron James question for Dion to start the show?
Yes, it was LeBron versus Jason Tatum.
Yeah. But why do you give layups to some people and then some other people have to talk about stuff that ain't got? I wasn't there. I didn't see it. I'm like, you're giving people current television to watch this year.
Swipe, but that's not a good question.
No.
LeBron and JT is not a good question.
I mean, it's a good question, but it's like, okay, can you remember in the last 6 months and you watched 40 plus games? When you ask us questions, you're like, hey, that nefarious year in 1984 when Charles Barkley had his rookie year from April 10th to May 5th, can you tell us how good was he and was he better than so-and-so and so-and-so? It's so specific, and you got to do a bunch of research and dive.
Do you know basketball or not?
I mean, you know about apparently I don't, because yesterday I was specifically told I'm a fair weather fan for not knowing who has the most 50-point games in Denver Nuggets history. That's what I was told.
You're not locked in, man. You're not locked in, because real ones will know about Charles Barkley from April 10th to May 5th. Real ones will know, but can't teach everyone, man.
So wait, Ron, who won that first round then between JT and Bron? Dion?
Dion swept.
Yeah.
Dion swept.
Yeah, he did.
With
Jack
with the live
but
poll,
Jack was either, like I said, Jack was either trolling, or we should probably be concerned for him.
Wait, why would he be trolling on PCL?
Because maybe the thought process is, I'm in the playoffs anyway. I don't have to try until we're really in the money rounds.
Oh, knockout
or
round.
He's just really committed to the bit and he's willing to lose $1,000 to be committed to it. Or mystery option number 3, he should get a mental health check. Those are the 3 options, and I'm willing to just say he's still trolling until we get to the money round.
Well, what were his points that made you think that about the JT LeBron thing? Do you remember? If you remember, I don't know if you remember.
His first words of the whole thing was Jason Tatum is the best player to ever play.
Yeah, that's so what he did with us again, basically.
Yes, that's how he started it. And then he just went on a weird tangent of, I know LeBron's the best player on Team USA, but the best player is really just a role. And Jason Tatum in that role would be like, he didn't know what he was talking about. So I just think he's trolling. For my own sanity, I have to believe he's trolling. So he gonna lock in when it comes time to shine. But like I said, Chill gave himself the freest group of all time.
I did not give myself any.
We're not gonna say that.
Ron, you got to clean this up, yo. Cooking. You do. You really do have to clean this up.
All right. I'm gonna come clean right now.
Ron, you do have to clean this up.
I'm gonna come clean right now.
This is ridiculous.
Okay, I got you.
You got to clean this up because
Dion's winning that group. Okay, I came clean. I finally said it.
No, wait. So
the way Dion cooked last night, I got Dion coming out.
So people are saying Chill is cheating because his group he's in the weakest group. Basically,
no, I'm not. No. Take it a step further than that, Swiper. Not only am I cheating, I'm the one who picked this group. Well, Chill, you are one of the elder statements of player's choice. You have more. You have more power than.
That's what Ron said. He said you let the elder statesman pick the group.
And with that being said, Ron, what process did I have in picking any of this?
But Ron is not going to lie.
So we all know that Chill is a LeBron fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he basically did what LeBron does. He handpicked his units.
Oh my God.
And that's how it is. And Chill, it's nothing wrong with it because we all going to the playoffs. Like, it's all good.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Chill,
Stu
I mean,
just
for
did
what-
what he had
You know,
to
I
do
had
to try and get
nothing to do with
a
this.
nice seed. He just
You
did
know,
what
I
he had
had
to do.
nothing to do with this. Is how people end up in prison for stuff they didn't do. This is how people end up in prison for
Shit,
stuff
we're
that they
talking about
did not
prison
do.
sentences now.
100%.
Yo,
This is how people end
all
up
I'ma
in
say
prison
is
for stuff
chill.
that they didn't do because it's stuff like this right here.
Yo.
Why? He now has Mars on the hook. Swiper is actually now in the room. Swiper, you are in the room deliberating, going, well, you know what? Maybe Chill did do this.
I'm just asking.
It's probable because of the influence of Mars, because of the influence of
Chill.
Bob,
Wait, can I ask you? Does
because of the
anybody else?
influence of those people,
But Chill,
and the
does
fact
see
that
that?
Ron with a straight face, is lying to
but
you
Chill,
guys.
does anyone else have their own merch here with their
I had
own,
no
tagline on
influence
it?
on this whatsoever. None.
Mars, do you have a
Chill,
shirt with the
chill,
tagline on it?
chill.
Look at
Anybody else-
I don't have a
Mars is
tagline. I don't
wearing
have a
your
tagline.
shirt.
Until is anybody else taking it?
Okay, so what does that have to do with me picking the lineups?
What the fuck?
I don't know,
We
Chill. That's a
we
lot of
know-
influence.
We know PC accommodates to
You
your
got the
needs.
host. The host is wearing your jersey
And
and supposed to be
yeah.
impartial.
And on top
Yo,
of that,
that's
if I had
crazy.
something to do with that, would I not say something about it? Yes, I would. 100% I would.
Yo, Chill. All I know is I don't know nothing. I ain't see nothing. I ain't hear nothing. I'm not here, Chill. I'm not influenced by nothing. I'm not involved. I don't know, Chill.
Hey, you guys do know, like, I wore the shirt a couple days. I was hanging out with this chick, and she was like, she was like, oh, you guys got some Player's Choice merch? That's nice, because this was the first thing she seen. And then she read that, and she was like, that's very sexual.
Yo, but you know what? You know what though, Ron? Maybe you should
I
you
just had
should
to
wash
tell her,
that
just,
shit.
hey, but just take it.
You wore this
Maybe
on
I
a
should
first
watch
date?
He said I've been wearing this for the past couple of days. Like, wash it, bro.
Never said I wore it for the last couple of days. Don't make me replay the tape like you did the pin. A couple
Wait,
days
you wore
ago.
that to a date?
Swiper.
You put your business out. I'm just asking for clarification.
I said I was
Right, Chill. Am I
hanging out.
tripping?
I
Did
said
you
I
not
was
have a
hanging
public
out.
dialogue about it? All right.
I said I was,
Never mind.
I said I was-
Excuse me.
I said I was
Open up the door.
hanging
Let me not
out.
follow up, Chill. I just
I
wanted
said,
context.
I
You open up the
said
door
I
and
was
you walk
hanging
through it.
out.
That's
I
all
never
that
said it
was.
was a date. I said I was hanging out.
So wait, is that how you made your move, Ron? You said, hey, you want to read my shirt?
Take it light.
I just said, do you want to take it?
W move, Ron.
That was the easiest segue. All right.
You know your problem? You ain't got no game.
Hey, she don't know that.
You do now.
No.
She
Hey,
does
it,
now.
it didn't seem like it. But fellas, let's get
My
back
man said
to
he
the,
kept the shirt on, Chill. That's all I'm
to the-
saying.
Let's get back to the thought at hand, though, or to the topic at hand. All right, so Dion
Focus, Ox.
versus Jack.
No doubt.
That was a good battle. Dion eventually, with the live votes, he swept. But if you guys or if you go back and watch the video and it's not live, make sure you vote and you guys let us know who you think actually won. But now we move on to the other battle. Big Ox, you had a matchup yesterday, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, if you could call it that. I mean,
Got cooked.
terribly cooked. I'm talking about flame broil, char broil.
Wow.
I got cooked up. They put me on the grill with an open flame. I couldn't believe it. It was so hot in there, I was sweating, literally.
He now 0-2.
Well, I'm 1-1, but you know how it goes, though.
0-2.
Shout out to Casual.
Yeah,
Yo,
shout out
Ox.
to Casual. You were doubting him, man. Shout out to Casual.
I'm still
Ox,
doubting him. I still doubt him. Like, I mean,
Ox, you are not that dude at the park after you lose going, y'all suck.
Wait,
Get
did
off
you
the court, Ox.
Yeah,
Did you
you
argue
lost
Chris
3-0.
Paul or
If
John
you
Stockton?
gonna doubt the man who swept you, I mean that's on you.
Get
fam.
off the court.
oh
I
my
know why
God,
you telling me that.
yes, I am.
Oh my goodness. This
Wait,
guy
who did you
hurt.
have? Chris Paul or John?
Yeah, John.
I had John Stockton. I had the
Oh, well,
Bulls.
yeah, that's a loss. That's easy. Nobody likes
No,
John
come on.
Stockton in our community.
No, the chat's not biased. They didn't make up their mind before the debate.
90s Bulls,
Don't do
17
that.
Warriors. Who had that one?
Swipe
He had
it.
the
Don't
Bulls.
do that, bro. Don't.
He
do
had the
that.
Bulls?
Yep.
Well, you know, there's a pro LeBron census in here because of Chill. so that's probably why you lost that one.
No, Swiper. It was
me.
fair and square. It
We
was
go
fair and
with him.
square. It was fair and square, Swiper. I got cooked up 3 the hard way. And it had nothing to do with
Bucks
the topic.
did have the
Trust me.
disadvantage in all 3 topics, in my opinion.
I don't
But he
think
still
so.
got cooked.
I don't think so, Mars. I think it was fair and square, and I think I got cooked. Shout out to Casual. I
I
still
do
don't
agree you
respect.
got
I still don't respect your ball knowledge, but you know it's okay.
He swept you.
Still.
It was
Well-
terrible, tragedy. I had to call my mama after that.
But you still ain't that good though, even though you dropped me. Like you didn't just beat me up, you dropped me, but you still ain't that good though. Ox, get off the court, yo.
Casual's performed the best across 2 weeks than anyone in that group. He's been the most consistent performer.
In this group?
Yeah, he's been across both weeks, he's been the most consistent.
Ox,
I like Casual. Casual
they
busy.
saying that you haven't really held your end of the bargain in this group.
That's okay. That's because they don't know ball.
People saying, people in the chat, they are saying you got set up. So
nah, man.
Set
nah.
up.
He had unfavorable topics, but
I've never once got set up in the PC debate. Every single time I've been in the PC debate, it's been fair and square, even Stevens. I'm garbage. I'm trash, y'all. I'm trying to get better though. I'm working on my craft.
Ox, when he brought up when he brought up Chris Paul and the peak of Chris Paul, I was surprised you didn't bring up John Stockton's peak and not the fact that he was 17 and 14 in his peak.
Well, I mean, chill. I brought the fact that he averaged 12 or more assists for 8 straight seasons, and Chris Paul didn't do that one time. You know, but
you can compound that with saying that he was. I think Stockton was for 11 straight years. He was 15 and 13 for 11 straight years, and at his peak, he was 14 and 13. He was 17 and 14. That part, you could compound that with he had a 5-to-1 assist to turnover ratio.
Yeah, so no.
Like that's pretty difficult to combat when you're talking about a guy playing with a guy like Malone, playing with Jeff Malone, playing with Thurl Bailey, right? How much better he makes those guys. And the fact that they ended up in the conference finals 5 times in 7 years and in the NBA championship off the strength of what he was doing. Now, the idea that he was averaging 11 a game, I would have definitely attacked that point. The fact that
there was some points that I was trying to stay away from because I knew like if I say certain things, then you know what I'm saying they're going to try to ride on the fact that he was playing with Malone, or if I say anything about like playoffs and stuff, they're going to talk about Chris Paul's playoff stats compared to his playoff stats. And I didn't want to get countered with those type of things, so I just kind of left those to the chat, and that was clearly a wrong decision, you know. But that's part of the game.
The fact that he brought up the 11 points, and he never averaged 20. He put 220. He had 2 20 games on Magic in the playoffs. I was surprised you didn't bring that up. That's very important to mention. And the fact that
I don't think it matters, shit.
Yeah, because Chris Paul clears.
Generation gap too, by the way, chill. I think a lot of people just don't appreciate some of the pre-2003.
Chris Paul is just a better player. So. Casual had the advantage.
I think I had the advantage personally, but in the third round too, I think I squashed that third round 100%.
Well, what was the topic? The
third round was all. That third round was all.
The 3-point revolution, and if it benefited or ruined the game.
I think I was spitting 100% in that round. It ruined.
I was with you until you called me a dweeb. So
I wasn't talking to you.
Mars was out.
I was with Ox, and then he said, "All these guys who have never touched a basketball, these nerds and dweebs." I was like, well, I'm very casual now.
Specifically, who is he talking about specifically?
I was specifically not talking about Mars. That's what I'll be saying. Like when I say that, Mars is 100% exempt from those conversations.
It sounds to me like you was directing that towards the mathletes. And they
I was no, Ron. At that point, I didn't care anymore. I was just pissed. So I was just talking shit at that point. Like fuck y'all, you know. So
well, if y'all haven't seen it yet, go back and watch the PCL from yesterday, and you will see Ox's debate versus Casual. You will see Jack Cody versus Dion, and you will see the third debate of the night, which I think ended up being the best debate. OG the Beast versus Elder Rufus. They had a slugfest, and they went back and forth that whole time. How'd you guys feel about this one?
I thought it was good. I just feel like they were debating 2 different things in the Miami and Boston debate. The way OG interpreted the question was he made a lineup from all of the 2010s Heat teams and combined it. Whereas the way Elder Rufus was doing it was the dynastic Celtics team, those teams versus the dynastic Heat team, the Heatles, which ones were better. So they were just debating 2 different topics. And I feel like it should have just been made clearer that maybe it's the 86 Celtics versus the 13 Heat or something. I don't know. But they were debating 2 different things.
Yes, they were.
And I ended up going with Elder on that side because the way I interpret the question was the teams not making a combined lineup from the decade. I didn't interpret it that way. He was wrong and just debating something for no reason.
I told OG the Beast it was supposed to be the Heatles versus the 80 Celtics.
And then he kept bringing up Hassan Whiteside like he was good, so he lost me there. So.
Yeah, that was the only thing that lost me was like, bro, like, okay, bring up Hassan Whiteside once and say that he's the backup center. And then after that, you might want to kind of, you know. And on top of that, why was he bringing up Hassan Whiteside when he had Bam? I know it's a younger Bam, but just throwing the name Bam out there, it holds a lot.
Anything but Hassan Whiteside would have sufficed for me. So he lost me with that, and they were debating two different things. So I went with Elder on that one. I liked the hand checking thing.
In there.
I was surprised to see Elder taken up for the non-hand checking. That
did surprise me too.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. Yeah,
how he grew up and like hand checking is a big
But I
deal.
do think he made good points. made good points. So I think I had Elder winning 2-1.
Right.
But it was a good. That was my. It would have been my favorite if in the Miami and Boston one they were debating the same thing. But my favorite by far was just seeing Oaks get cooked. Like that was just it was one.
That's crazy, boy.
All right. Well, this Sunday, as you can see on the bottom banner, right here below me and Chill, we will have the second day of week 2 of the PCL. It will kick off with Mars versus Pirate. It's gonna be a very good one, y'all. Don't be late to that. And then you got MTEL versus Easy. And then last but not least, at 7:30 Eastern time, you got John D, our wild card, versus Penn. And that should be a good one to cap the night. So y'all be sure to tap in, tune in. Those are going to be 3 good matchups.
All right.
And in case you don't know, the PCL, it's all about this right here. The winner will get this and $1,000 cash prize. So we will see at the end of the day who gets paid out and who gets the belt. But all right, y'all, let's go ahead and get into these super chats. And then we got a few more good things to talk about. Ken 10 said she has 9 losses and the business that put out those results went out of business for being corrupt. ... Those 9 women must be intersex too, I guess.
Is she transsexual? First of all, I don't remember saying anything about that. I don't remember saying anything about that. That's number one. Number 2, combat sports. We talked about this yesterday. Men shouldn't be fighting women. If that was a dude, she shouldn't be fighting a dude. It's really that simple.
Well, she wasn't. So just biologically, she was born a woman. Biologically, she was born as a woman. Paperwork said that she is a woman. So I think that's where you're starting to get into the split.
Right.
I think Mars is of the mind, I think, of some people who are rational in that if she has chromosomes or she has parts of her that make her more masculine and therefore have an advantage in some way, then she possibly should be fighting in a different division. But I think the right-winged nonsense that people are pushing back against is that she is indeed a trans woman, which she is not a trans woman. She is biologically born a woman. Mars is making a competitive.
What exactly is intersex, Mars? So
intersex means you are born. We're way away from us. It means you are born.
We
are born with both male and female.
Okay, that's all I want to know, Moran. We can get right back.
It's more so.
I just want to understand what it was. Right. That's all.
Yeah, it could just happen. Yeah.
Okay.
You don't do anything to
that.
No.
Well, no, you're factually neither. You're factually neither.
DK with the super chat said, Luka never winning an MVP. The racist media hates on my light skin king.
Here we go with this racist nonsense.
They're going to give it to their white king, Jokic, again for 25, 10, and 7, and his kitchen sink percentage.
I don't think he has a 25, 10, and 7 season in his career, actually.
7. How many assists he averaging? 21.
21. That was 2021?
Yeah.
Yes.
8.
2021.
I think that year was 8 point.
Okay. Because I know that was his lower assist years of the MVP.
8.3 in 2021-2, but then he averaged 27, 14, and 8 that year. It was 7.8 that year. 27, 14.
Oh, 27. Okay.
27, 14, and 8 that year.
Shout out to Jokic, man. He done winning
2001
MVPs for the rest of his career, though. So I hope Swipe.
That's it.
I'm willing.
I
No. I'm willing to bet you, not the PCL title money, but I'm willing to bet you a week's worth of one of our incomes that Jokic wins a 4th MVP in the next 2 years. Chill.
I'm certain that wouldn't happen, but I'm still too young to gamble. But I'm certain that wouldn't happen.
I'll do a month's
I don't
worth.
think he's.
So
I
if
don't
they're-
think-
One of the next 2
I don't
MVPs
think
is going
he's
to
gonna
Jokic.
If they're, think about it. Just think about
I don't think
the
he's gonna win
logistics
it. I
here.
don't.
He's going to lead the league in all the advanced stuff again. That's just whatever.
Yep.
He's going to average like 20. And then now with the roster being changed up and everybody kind of counting them out, if they're a top 2 or 3 seed again, more than likely top 2, and Jokic has played 72 games, he goes off, takes off 7 games from last year. And he's averaging, again, 26.5, 12.5, and 9. And he's shooting just what he's shooting again. And without another all-star on the roster, we're going to be right back here where the conversation, I think, Mars in 23 is going to be, who else are we going to give it to? Now, I think to your point, you're correct. They're going to look and be like, okay, SGA, Embiid, Giannis, Luka, Tatum. But I hope, and this is what happened, Chill, Stephen A. Smith and them, I hope Kendrick and Stephen A. Smith do that thing again. Tatum's the number 1 seed on the Eastern Conference team. He deserves to be in the race. Because all that's going to do is take away 2nd and 3rd place votes away from guys that actually deserve it, I think. And then that's going to pull some of the stuff away. So it really comes down to, are they going to make compelling enough arguments to say it shouldn't go to Joker this year? Because that's what happened 2 years ago. So that has to happen again, I think.
So
if he's a 1 seed, it will be hard. If he's a 2 seed, whoever's above him, OKC, Shea, Minnesota, and
No
Dallas,
way. No, and it's not.
That's
that.
what they are going to do. That's what
But
they and once again, I want to clarify. I'm not saying Jokic isn't going to play at the MVP level. He's 1,000%.
I don't think Ant's going to be in that combo, though, bro.
They are going to vote for people who
aren't. Well, his number, I don't think
they aren't letting Jokic tie LeBron and go 1 behind MJ and MVPs. They're not.
Let
letting him go above.
Let me ask you this question: Why do you think
Giannis
Giannis hasn't seen a league MVP in 4 years?
I've been clear about this. Giannis has had to deal with part. But again, I want to, because if we're just doing time frame, this is why, like, when Ron gives us question to trivia, whatever about like 1986, I wasn't alive. I don't know. Let me Google real quick. I can do all the research and everything else. This is like me doing a history paper on World War II. But if you're telling me, Chill, directly about 2021, right, what happened is Giannis went from the 1 seed the next year to the 3 seed.
Yep.
And I think he played less games, if I remember correctly, on par. It was 72-game season. I think he played less games that year. He was just a little worse than he was the previous season. And Jokic boomed, and then Embiid boomed. Mm-hmm. That's what happened that year. Sure. I think since that point, I don't think Giannis has collectively had the wins, plus the on-court impact, plus all the other things you need in order to win the award. And I think what happened is Joker kept ascending, and then he kept having these insane individual standalone years that just made it like, okay, what do we do? But then in the 23 season, it was the white boy comments and all that kept him from winning that one. But I think Giannis is not out of it, but I don't know if Giannis is like going to be in the guaranteed top 3. I'm willing to bet you Jokic doesn't finish worse than 2. So then that's what I'm saying. So if you're dealing with that, right, and it's like somebody's going to be within the 2-point range, like,
so
that's tough.
Couldn't that, the same logic that you just used, couldn't that same logic be used for Joker in the aspect that what Joker has been doing, this 27-14, this 26-13, which is now the norm for Joker, even if Denver ultimately is, let's say, a 2 or 3 seed, and with Joker having less talent, losing KCP, right? Losing KCP and now adding Russell Westbrook, or his team being diminished, but he's still doing the same thing he's doing, and they're a top 2, top 3 seed. Yet another emerging star like Anthony Edwards, like Shea, who's 31 a game, and that Oklahoma City team is where they are. He could continue to ascend. That could be the same logic going on with why Joker, I don't think, would see a league MVP. I'm already on record, Swiper, saying there was a reason why he didn't win it 3 straight years, because there was conversations that the media were not ready to have. It's just that simple.
I think SGA is most likely to, if you had to ask me to bet, I think SGA is most likely to be the one that would take that and dethrone it. Because I think SGA is about to have a 61+ win season. And I think all the stuff people want from Tatum, like the efficiency, the consistency, the scoring, the moments, the pull-up shooting that dazzles people, and his EPM is going to be good. His advanced stuff is going to be good. I think he's the most likely to have that on his side where his trajectory is headed. Because he went from chill, like he was 4th and then he was 2nd. And some people feel like he could have got it last year had he not got hurt towards the end of the year. You know, the next game he wasn't efficient or anything at all. So he probably.
But can we? I mean, because y'all keep talking about, oh, well, they're not going to let this happen. They're not going to let that happen. They're not going to do this. He can't catch him. So can we stop talking about MVPs and debates and stuff like that? Can we stop talking about this person when we talk about who's better? Can we stop talking about MVPs and accolades if y'all are going to sit here and admit in this conversation that it's rigged? If you're going to admit in this conversation right now that the media sways it based on narrative, if you're going to admit that they're not going to let certain players have this many MVPs over this player and that player, I'm tired of arguing about who's better based on MVPs. I'm tired of hearing MVPs in debates and stuff like that. I do not want to do that anymore. We know, like I said already, I'm not trying to debate when things are voted on. You know what I'm saying? When it's voted on and it's clearly opinionated, we got to talk facts. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm trying to say.
So now we got to take accolades off the table because it's rigged, even though none of us, I never said that, even though I never said that it was rigged, but what the media does is they do go in a different direction. That doesn't mean that it's rigged. They just go in a different direction. Well, somebody, like when no, it doesn't, because it's not rigged when Giannis, who is, I think in 2020, I think he was 30-12. I think he was 30-12-6, but he had done that like the last 3 years. He had done that like the last 2 or 3 years where he was 20, he was almost 30. He was 30 a game, and then he was 31. So he was like 30-12 over the last 2 years when he won the league MVP. Then Joker emerges. And the year that Joker had when he won the league MVP in 22, where he basically did the same thing that Jabbar did in 75 or 76 when he won the league MVP, and they didn't make the playoffs, which, by the way, the rules were different. If the rules were what they were today, and not just the MVP, but if the rules were different today, the Lakers would have made the playoffs that year because they were actually better in the division than Milwaukee. They were actually better. But anyway, what I'm saying is when a guy is when one guy is doing one thing that's become the norm for him, this thing has become the norm, and now there's another guy who this isn't the norm, like Jason Tatum, like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, like Anthony Edwards. Now they have to start looking at this other guy. Unfortunately, it goes that way. Now, does that mean that he should never win it again? Does that mean he should never win it again? Depending on what he does. If Joker ends up having a 33, 14, and 8 season, and the Denver Nuggets are in first place in the Western Conference, there's no way you can keep it away from him. No way.
Yeah, but chill. If you say, like, y'all just were having a conversation saying like there's no way that he was going to let him have this many Bird or Magic or somebody else talking about, and if you're thinking that way, then that is 100% rigged. That means 100% that our vote is swayed on bias. Our vote is swayed on not wanting to see this player in the same conversation as our favorite players. That is rigged. It might not be rigged as like, oh, I'm getting bought, or rigged as I took a bribe, not rigged in that sense, but it's still rigged. If you're voting in bad faith, then it's rigged.
So if that's the case, then we gotta not completely take away all the votes. We gotta completely fix the voting process.
We can fix the voting process. We can keep it the same, but it doesn't matter. Like, we could do that either way. Like, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not saying we should stop doing that. I'm saying we should stop talking about it and weighing it so heavily in debates of who's better than who's greater than who. That MVP vote should not be so weighted, especially if we're talking about, for instance, if we're talking about guys that are close to the same and played in the same era, specifically like KG and Tim Duncan, Bird and Magic. You know what I'm saying? Hakeem and Charles Barkley. When we have those type of conversations, we should keep the MVP out of it because it's clearly biased. Well, for the reasons I just stated,
but honestly, though, we haven't done this exercise on a year. We did similar, and Mars is obviously in chill, like our history. But I think we've gone since 2000. I can't really think of years outside of LeBron in 2011 where somebody was like robbed, like where we know blatantly.
Yeah, but that's because we've been I don't want to say indoctrinated, but we've, as a basketball community, have generally come to the conclusion that MVP, top 3 seeds, elite numbers, elite impact, all of those things.
Yep.
And the reason we've come to accept that, in my opinion, is because that's how the precedent has been set. If we can't remove our thinking on how we've been brought up with top 3 seeds, elite impact, elite numbers, MVP. But if we remove that line of thinking, I'm certain people will be like Kobe 06. I'm not saying I agree. I'm just saying people will be like Kobe 06. Right. Russ did deserve it in 17, or Nash didn't deserve his, or Magic didn't deserve it in 1990. I'm sure people will be more open to that. But because we've grown up with top 3 seeds, these level of numbers, these things, we were like, well, these MVPs based on that precedent, they're not wrong. But if you just think about what an MVP is to you individually, you might have a different criteria, but you know how the voting works. Like I say about 22, was it 22 Jokic when they were the 6th seed?
Yeah.
22, yes. Right? I remember I was saying during 22, because I was on the same thing. I was like, I think Jokic has been the best player in the regular season, but I wouldn't give him MVP because the precedent previously has been, other than the Russ year, top 3 seed, all of these things. I wouldn't give the MVP to a 6th seed.
Right.
I've since changed my mind. I'm like, why am I following a precedent I don't agree with? I think the precedent is stupid.
Well,
so I think when we look at MVPs
years,
under the precedent, it's like, yeah, okay, they're majority right. But when you look at it for how you view things, it's like, okay, maybe I don't agree with these. And even if you do agree with them, that doesn't then make the MVP award valid. That just means the MVP supports your opinion. But I think when you're talking about who's a better player, it should always be about your opinion. That's all I've been trying to say for as long as I've been on this platform. Right. Who do you think is better? It shouldn't be because this voter thought this guy was the MVP this year that now you think he's better. No, who do you think is the better player? Do you think Steve Nash is better than Kobe Bryant? Do you think Kevin Garnett is better than Tim Duncan? Do you think it's all about your opinion? When we have these discussions,
but don't we typically split things by regular season and playoffs though? Like I think we attribute the MVPs to like regular season overall success that like Nash, for instance, in those years was just. And I think that's where but I do think the biggest contingent of people that I think struggle with that are Kobe fans, some Shaq fans, but mostly Kobe fans because they feel like he should have had one more or Shaq should have had one more. But I think a lot of this comes down to a lot of these people that have this fandom association. I think even the Kobe years, it's like, well, I mean, if we're doing that, like I just genuinely, and I'm not even just not trying to be hated at all. I don't think Kobe deserved more than one MVP based on what he did. Like, I mean, similar with Dirk. Like, I never thought Dirk had another season where he legitimately outside of that Nash year, but Nash was also still really freaking good. But I do agree, Mars. Now, this is where the David Robinson thing in me came in. I don't know if you saw. I basically said David Robinson is ahead of Embiid at his peak, but I don't think he's like clear of Embiid. And people lost their minds because they're like, well, look at all the stuff that Robinson did. I'm like, but Robinson had the same playoff struggles you criticize Embiid for at his apex. And Embiid's been better as a scorer in the playoffs, to be honest. So I'm talking about from 93 to 96 and then from 21 to 24. Mm-hmm. But I think that's the other side of that. It's like we're in this place now. I do agree with you about how to have basketball conversations and take out and use awards in context. But I think for instance, in the Embiid Robinson conversation, all that award stuff is junk. Because when it comes to Embiid, he's a better offensive player than Dave Robinson was. Yes. I mean, just to be clear, like he's a much better scorer consistently. But I think people get so locked into, well, look at all these accolades and stuff he has. Now that's where it does become disruptive. But I think if you start getting in conversation with, Larry Bird, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, there's a bunch of basketball stuff you can get into. But I think the accolade stuff also does matter there a little bit. Now, Finals MVP for Steph doesn't because.
So, but you're saying it matters because it aligns with your thoughts. That's what you. If Steph had his Finals MVP in 15, which we're at a point where 90% of people understand Steph deserves Finals MVP. If Steph had that Finals MVP in 15, the 22 Finals MVP wouldn't have been necessary for his legacy. The reason people praise 22 Steph so much is because he got the one thing he was missing. He needed that Finals MVP to secure his legacy. But anyone with a brain knows he deserved it in 15. So why did I need to see him win one when I know he was robbed 7 years ago? It's like we speak about this with the Jokic MVP thing. I was saying before he went in 23, before that year, there's a clip of it on TikTok. I remember I said, no matter what Jokic does, he's not going to win MVP in 23 because of the historical agendas that are going to be pushed if he wins 3 in a row. I said, and I ended up being kind of wrong because he had a shot. But I was like, if he averages a triple-double and the Nuggets go 75-7, he still won't win it just because they're not going to put him in those conversations. He ended up not winning it, but if he would have done those things, I think he probably still would have won it. But if we understand that MVPs are withheld from people because of the conversations it will eventually start, and this isn't just my thoughts, guys with votes have said these things. Guys with votes have said, I didn't vote this guy for MVP because I don't think he's of that caliber of a this many time MVP. If you're voting with that idea, why do I care about the awards from my opinion of the player? If I think Jokic deserved the MVP in 3 straight seasons, why do I have to then say, well, he's not as good as this guy because this guy actually has 3 MVPs? No, I don't care about these guys' votes. I'm not the one voting. For me, it should be about your opinion. Who would be your MVP? If I ask you year on year, who would be your MVP? If you come up with a different order of guys compared to the guys who actually won it, are you then going to say, well, this guy was actually better than this guy, even though I think this guy was the better player?
Point, though,
I'm not doing all that. That's
so you can go after this. I think that
we got to move on after this.
We saw it happen to Joker, but then you're a LeBron fan. It did happen to LeBron in 2011.
I still haven't gotten over that. The fact
we are not giving you 3 straight. Is literally what the conversation was. It's not going to happen.
Go ahead, Ron.
All right, fellas. It was a couple big signings and contract extensions that just happened recently. Jarrett Allen has signed a 3-year max extension with the Cavs. 3 years, $91 million. The Cavs have their front court and their core of players secured. He's now tied down for the next 5 years for $131 million. So I got to ask you guys, is the Mobley and Allen experiment still possible to work out, or has the ship sailed and did the Cavaliers make a mistake?
That's why they ended up extending him, for that reason right there, because they think that this thing is still viable. Mobley is going into year 4. He's becoming, if he could stay healthy, I think he's an elite defender. That 2-man game between him and Jarrett Allen was a plus when they were on the floor. They were on their way to being a top 3 seed last season before Evan Mobley broke down, before Donovan Mitchell broke down, before Jarrett Allen had broke down. Mars and I had actually had this conversation. I actually had this conversation with Swiper too. I thought that Jarrett Allen was essentially an all-star last year. I wouldn't have been surprised if he had made the all-star team. With that being said, the emergence of Darius Garland getting back to what he was in 21 when he made the all-star team, I think that's the difference on this crew. I think Evan Mobley is going to be better. I think that Jarrett Allen plays off of him very well, and defensively they are one of the better teams. And I think Kenny Atkinson is going to give them, I think he's going to give them the know-how defensively for them to be a lot better. I just feel like Darius Garland is the difference in them making that next step. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cleveland Cavaliers was in the Eastern Finals this year. That would not surprise me at all.
Chill. The one thing about it is that people don't give the Cavs, I don't want to necessarily say credit for, but the one thing that they don't really acknowledge is the fact that the Cavs are still young. Like, Donovan Mitchell's been around for a while, but
yes, they are.
The Cavs are young. Like those dudes needed to go through these last couple years in the playoffs. I just knows how I feel about it. When you're young, you got to get your ass kicked in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. That's the only way. Look at what happened with Jordan in the Bulls. Look at what happened with LeBron when he was younger with the Cavs. You got to go through the ringer. You got to get beat by more experienced teams. You got to go through playoff series where it's like, I could have won, I should have won, but I made these mistakes and I got to go and clean it up. You got to figure out what your deficiencies are in the playoffs.
But that's not where we live, though, Ron. We don't live there, though. We live in a right now, where we are in the internet society where everything has to be right now. When you put a crew together, especially in this day and age, the way you put crews together, you have to win right now. The idea of building a team, which is what the Golden State Warriors did. The idea of building a team, which is what the Boston Celtics did. Mm-hmm. The idea of building a team, which is what Milwaukee did, and they were successful doing it. That's not conducive to what's going on today. You got to go get a superstar, and you got to go get another superstar, and you got to win right now, as opposed to actually building it and have some luck, which is what happened with Golden State, because they didn't have to pay as many guys as early. Same thing was going on with the Milwaukee Bucks, where they didn't have to pay where they didn't have to pay guys as early. So with that being said, if we had more teams that were building their unit like what the Cavs are doing, I think we would have a more competitive league, and I just feel like we'd see champions around longer.
How do you guys feel about the Jarrett Allen signing? Mars, Ox?
I like what they're doing over there. I think they should keep going. You know, personally, I think I think they fit well together, and I think Evan Mobley's still getting better. So I wouldn't be ready to split that up at all. I would be considering, moving off of Darius, maybe going with more of a traditional style PG, letting letting Donovan do the bulk of the scoring from the guard position. Maybe even definitely trying to get bigger out there on the wing. But as far as Mobley and Jared Allen go, I'm keeping them together as long as possible.
Yeah, they're just really limited, man. And that, I mean, even again, just talked about this yesterday. Like, if they face the Magic again, they're going to be Jalen Suggs, KTP, Franz, Paolo, Wendell. That's a lot of length and
Swipe,
a lot.
Why
of
are we under the impression that they're not going to be better next year? Like,
because they have the same roster. They have the same
roster.
They didn't have Jared Allen too, though.
No, I'm saying they're
okay. But what you just said, Swiper. Let's stay right there.
Mm-hmm.
They got the same roster. Are we under the impression that they're not going to be better? Have we not seen teams that have the same roster get better next year? Is Joker the same dude that he was 3 years ago? No, he's not. Is Joker the same dude that he was 5 years ago? They still have the same
fundamental issues, though, is what I think is the problem.
And what are those fundamental issues?
Well, the lack of shooting for sure at that 3 spot. Now it depends on how Wade, Okoro, and all them, like how they develop. They're small on the front, like at the backcourt. They're very tiny. Donovan Mitchell is 6'1". Yep. Darius Garland, they're injury prone. That's not their fault. They deal with that. Jared Allen obviously missed because of injuries. Evan Mobley continues to develop offensively. Hopefully, better floor spacer. Again, and their net rating stuff works. Like when one of them is on the court and the other one's on the court really well, they're still good when they're both on the court. But in terms of them transferring enough offense when it matters most, and then being able to sum up enough stops defensively with that backcourt versus the Celtics, versus the Sixers, versus the Bucks, even versus the Pacers, who are a really competitive team, those are still questions that I have for that roster that I want to find out if they can answer for. So maybe they can. Like, maybe they legitimately can make those improvements they need to make. But again, if you're asking me who's in the conference that I would trust more than them, I think there are 4 other teams that I would have ahead of them.
Sure. So 2 things, Swiper, to your point. I mean, you brought up the scoring. So 2 years ago when they played against the Knicks, there were a bunch of kids that got bullied. And then last year, they had Donovan Mitchell do what he did, and then he ended up getting hurt. Jared Allen wasn't available for the playoffs, but he did play throughout the regular season. Evan Mobley, he might not have taken the leap that I expected him to take, but he has gotten better. He has shot the long ball a little bit more. He has shot in the mid-range a little bit more. I'd like to see him do it a little bit more, and I expect that to be this season. In addition to that, them getting Max Strus, who got more acclimated to their system. Now, Okoro actually shot the long ball better. He went from a guy who now will knock down an open shot to he's with us. I think that's a little bit different. What I think the thing that's glaring to me, and I don't think this is you specifically, but I think the thing that's glaring to me is we don't challenge these teams who have the pieces where, for example, Cleveland, they get knocked out. They have to make some dramatic change instead of Darius Garland being 23 years old, Evan Mobley being 22 years old, Jared Allen being 26 years old, Donovan Mitchell being 27 years old, Max Strus being 26. These guys being younger and demanding that they get better instead of just letting these guys off the hook. That's why, and I still stand on this logic, that's why Bam is who he is today, because Miami didn't let him off the hook. They made him get better. Instead of moving off of him and trading him to somebody else and then having him become a journeyman, we have what's necessary here. Hone it. That's what your player development department is for. That's what your coaching is for. Make these guys get better and see exactly what you can get out of these guys instead of letting these guys off the hook and just completely filtering guys and just making this a revolving door. I think that's nuts.
All right, fellas. Luke Kennard also signed a 1-year deal with Memphis for $11 million. Luke Kennard, he obviously had the 3rd highest 3-point percentage of all time last year. And he's a key floor spacer for the Memphis Grizzlies. He's planning to obviously have a bounce back season, but how do we like Memphis with Luke back, with them drafting Zach Edey?
Ron, who are you starting? Healthy? Who are you starting from 1 to 3?
If I'm Memphis?
In Memphis. If you're in Memphis.
Well, obviously, you know who's starting at the 1 and 2. You know that's John Desmond Bane. Okay. Who am I starting at the 3?
Yep.
Gigi?
Jackson.
So where's Marcus coming off the bench?
Yeah. Marcus and Luke are both coming off the bench. GG Jackson is not only am I starting him because I believe he's talented enough right now, but I want him to start building up that camaraderie with Ja, Desmond, and Triple J. I might even start GG and Zach Edey. If I'm being honest, I might start the second year dude and Zach. Let's go ahead and start our team of the future. We ready to rock and roll now. Come on, we going, we moving forward. We're starting our team of the future right now. We're getting these young guys the reps that they need. It might not pay off for us this year, might pay off for us next year, but in 3 years, we ready to rock and roll with these two.
I think Smart's going to start the season.
I'm ready to the same way I feel about buckets. That's the way I feel about Marcus Smart in the aspect of I think he's overqualified in his position. I think he's a starter, and I feel like I could get something for him moving off of him. So I got I got Ja and Desmond at the 1 and the 2. I got GG Jackson at the 3. I got JaMorant Jackson, who is much better, I think, at the 4. And I want to start Zach Edey at the 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that as a rim protector, he makes JaMorant. I think he makes JaMorant Jackson's job a lot less difficult. Very much like what Rudy does for Cat in Minnesota. So
is rebounding more important now than it has been since the 2000? Do you think?
I think it is. I do know that the long ball makes it a lot more difficult to rebound. That's why I feel like
closing out defensive possession so you don't get multiple 3-point attempts.
Yes, I feel like that's very important. And a guy like JaMorant Jackson, who's not a very good rebounder, who can be a better rebounder, having Zach Edey, I think that could help him be a better rebounder. And also having GG Jackson, who I like GG Jackson as an athlete more than anything. And I feel like he can help them even more as a rebounder. So with that being said, I think this Memphis team, I think they're a top 3 seed next year. I think they right back at the top of where they were. Zach Edey makes them faster as a rim protector and a rebounder, and he's a lot more athletic than what I thought. A lot more athletic than what I thought. And getting the ball out to Ja, getting JaMorant Jackson on the box a little bit more, I think he speeds them up and makes them a lot better than what they already are.
Do you think him or the Connecticut kid is going to be the best big in the top 10?
I think it's Zach Edey. I do, especially considering where he is in Memphis. If he was somewhere else, like if he was in Washington, I'm not really sure what they're doing with him. I think Memphis actually has a plan for him. They got an idea of what they want to do with him. I do not want him coming off the bench. I want him to play right from the beginning, just like I want Ware in Miami to play right from the beginning. I'm not interested in this. We're gonna play behind this guy. No, that's my starting 5-man right there.
All right, so we shall see how Luke Kennard and the Memphis Grizzlies look this year. But shout out Luke Kennard signing an $11 million deal, getting his money.
Is that the going rate? Is that the going rate for a long ball shooter today?
That's what I was surprised because he got a lot more than Gary Trent. That's what I was.
Is he a better long now? Mars, you told me
he shoot better than Gary Trent.
That's what I'm talking about.
He's worse defensively, and that's saying something. So.
But I think we're talking about just as a long ball shooter, because when you think about shooters, what coincides with shooters? I can tell you what doesn't. Defense. More times than not, if you're talking about a shooter, we're talking about a dude who's strictly at the long ball line. Seth Curry, Kyle Korver, guys like that. They come in the game and they just are strictly at the long ball line. And we got guys on the perimeter like Desmond Bane, right? Like GG Jackson. We got guys to protect them as defenders. Now, if you got a guy that's a long ball shooter like that coming off the bench, and he's also defending, that dude is at a premium, Mars. That number actually goes up even higher now because I defend too, like a guy like Gary Trent. That's why I'm surprised. I'm not surprised he turned down Denver. I think it was Swiper, you might be able to straighten me out on this. Maybe it was a money thing because I thought he fit perfect with you guys.
Who? Gary?
Yes, I did.
I don't think they offered him. They gave that $5 million to Sarge. They could have waited though. Denver messed up multiple things. They could have traded for Chris Dunn and re-signed him. They got his bird rights with the second, the third, the 2 or 3 second round picks they sent to Charlotte for Reggie Jackson. They could have done a couple things differently.
I know you guys said that you believe that Luke Kennard's overpaid, but once again, I said this earlier. He boasts
we didn't say overpaid.
I just said I was surprised. I was surprised Gary Trent got what he got.
I just want to know what the going rate is.
I didn't say he's overpaid.
I just want to know what the going rate is for a long ball shooter. I thought it was anywhere between 8 to 12 million. So or 8 to like 10 million. I'm thinking 11. I mean, for an elite long ball shooter, I mean that's. All right.
I think they were more valuable 5 years ago than they are now.
And who's the worst
I know why
three-pointer,
you're saying that too, Mars.
3-point shooter, non-defender that plays consistent minutes? That Duncan Robinson?
The worst.
But he's added more to his game. I'd say.
Right, he's a good playmaker now.
George Niang.
George, I mean, how much? I mean, he guess he plays. I mean, but he
definitely plays. But that's who I'd say.
Yeah,
because he got some playoff minutes. Like Luke Kennard doesn't play in the playoffs.
Didn't even play in some regular season games that are close.
Yeah, because his defense is a problem. Shout out to Luke Kennard, man.
That's why guys like Grayson Allen get extended, because I mean Grayson Allen will get in the stance and play some defense. He will do that. That's not something that he won't do. He'll definitely do that.
All right, fellas, moving along. Kendrick Perkins expects JaMorant to dethrone Anthony Edwards next season.
What do you mean dethrone? Dethrone what?
Well, specifically, he said, I'm looking at JaMorant to go get his seat back from Anthony Edwards.
To be the most trendy young black guard?
I think to just take over like as the best guard in the West. Not necessarily the best guard in the West, but you know, like
he's not. Ant was never the best guard in the West. So
Anthony Edwards is not better than JaMorant.
You don't think so?
No, I just think people.
I don't think anybody thinks that, right?
JaMorant wasn't. It's the same thing that people just when you're not there for a while, people just forget how good you are.
Out of sight, out of mind, yo.
No, I mean, but take over is what? Somebody help me. I'm about to take over.
Out of sight, out of mind.
I mean, with that being said, though, being who's better, they're kind of different positions. Kind of, more shooting guard, more point guard. Even though they're both scoring guards, essentially, it's still a different position. So to say who's better, that's a matter of opinion, I think. But I do think most people, like you're saying, chill, out of sight, out of mind. People are forgetting about Ja. Mm-hmm. Like Ja's coming back. And even when he came back this last season before he got hurt, like we saw who he is, though. Like I think it's very dangerous to forget about JaMorant, because JaMorant, he came into the league ready to go, and he's still like that. Yeah. I'm assuming he's still working on his craft, working on that jump shot, things like that. And and let's say that. Can we just be hypothetical for a couple seconds? It's August, you know what I'm saying? It's summertime. Let's be hypothetical. Let's say he does come back with that jump shot really improved. You know what I mean? And he's a threat. You can't go under screens with JaMorant anymore and stuff like that. I think we have to agree. Like Ja is gonna come get his spot back.
Yeah. What spot was that though, Ox? When we talk about Ja getting his spot, what spot did he have previous to him?
He was next up. He was next up as far as point guards go. Like, right. And you know what? It's not Ant. It's SGA. No, I'm not saying Ja's better. I'm not saying today, but I mean, come on. When Ja was here, SGA was still on that brink. People like this year and the year before that was the years when, like the year when Ja got the year when Ja got in all the gun trouble and stuff. He was still, most people still had him over SGA. Am I wrong? Am I lying about that? I think most people still had him over SGA.
The majority, I think so. Yeah,
he start getting into that gun trouble and stuff like that. Then he came back, got hurt again, and now it's like, well, SGA is here. So it's not Ant who Ja need to come get his seat back. It's SGA.
And I've never got a seat. I've been standing up the whole time. People just been trying to give him a seat. That's how I view it.
Mars, what do you see? Because you've been really critical of Anthony Edwards, Mars. Because I have a different view of him. I think he's going to be the league MVP in the next 2-3 years. Time.
What?
I do. Yes, I do.
He might, if Minnesota get a number one seed with the narrative he has.
It's happening, Mars. I'm telling you.
With the narrative Ant has, you're telling me if they're a one seed that he's not going to be a.
Because a lot of the voters are researchers now. Like he's not a good research player either. Like just to be honest with you.
We'll see.
Now when you say research, what
all the analytics, the on court numbers, all that stuff, like the things that go into measuring impact over other players. Like he just doesn't perform over. Honestly, he's right. He's behind Tatum. I mean, I'm just gonna have a real hard time if you're gonna tell me you're gonna put Ant on there, but then not put Tatum on there.
Are those the same voters who vote for Finals MVP, or is that different people?
Well, it's only 9 people that vote Finals MVP, I believe. 13.
Are they researchers or are they just people?
Well, Malik Andrews and them. I mean, they're all they're researchers, but they're also not like the
because Jaylen Brown doesn't lead Boston in any of these research numbers. Any of them
in the playoffs. in the finals?
Yes, any of them. I did it a couple months ago. He was behind Derek White, Drew Porzingis, and Tatum.
No,
He was like the fifth
Derek White
ranked
got
player
swept
on the
finals,
Celtics. So,
yeah, I think in the regular season it's because remember it's 100 mostly local voters from different markets. Yep. So I think in that instance, I don't think that he would outperform Tatum. I just would have a real hard time if I saw Anthony Edwards in somebody's top in the next 2 years. Because that means like Luka, like that means the 29 and 30-year-olds are out, and then Luka, SGA, and Tatum.
If that's true.
Brunson.
If that's true. Did you say the same thing? Let's say 3 years ago when SGA was in year 4. Did you have a really hard time with him being in the league MVP conversation as high as he was 3 years ago? And Oklahoma City, by the way, wasn't nearly as good as Minnesota.
And ain't Shea, but
not nearly as good. But
Shea also did take some huge leaps too.
100%, he did.
And would absolutely have to take another leap as well.
Right.
Which
and we're
I think
talking
we all
about
kind of expect him to do that.
100%. And we're talking about a 22-year-old kid, right? We're talking about a 22-year-old kid who played on the Olympic team, not just played on the Olympic team, played on a top seed in the Western Conference. Now, I won't argue that defensively he's not as good as I'd like him to be. Like a lot of people, I think Anthony Edwards.
I thought Ant was pretty damn good.
I think he could be
I
think he could be an all-league defender. That's how good I think he could be.
Okay.
I do. I think Anthony Edwards has all-league defensive potential. With that being said, he has to improve his shot selection. Not only does he have to improve his shot selection, he also has to perform better down the stretch in games because he's not very good down the stretch in games. So he was pretty good this season in the mid-range, early in the season, in the later on in the season, it started to taper off a little bit. But with that being said, I feel like that's going to improve next year. But because I think that Minnesota knows one of their biggest problems is their offense. And with their offense, Anthony Edwards has to know, I got to get better. I got to get better as a jump shooter. I got to get better as a on-ball defender, which he's a damn good on-ball defender. I won't argue that with anybody. I think he's a damn good on-ball defender. But SGA is ahead of him right now. I won't argue that. SGA is ahead of him right now.
Yeah.
Madden just released your cornerback ratings, by the way. It's robbery.
Yeah. And they snubbed 2 guys.
Who?
Up in the Pacific Northwest.
Who?
Yeah, they did. Don't worry.
Who you talking about? Wooden?
And
who?
All right.
Who, Ron?
Hey, we gonna see. Nah, we gonna see. Hey, when the season starts and spoons start knocking helmets off, then I want to see who's who. We got a super chat from Steven. He's been a member for 4 months. He said, Dub Swiper, I'm so ready for Ja to take over.
Facts.
That's a thing, man.
Looking forward
it happens. Yep, it
Kent
happens.
10 became a member. He sent through some super chats earlier, and then he just now became a member. So shout out to Kent 10.
That avatar is wild as hell, by the way.
Reggie Reg said, yo, when are y'all gonna address what happened to Ticket? Dub got a whole guest spot to talk about his situation.
What situation is that? What are you talking about, Reggie Reg? What are you talking about? So like when people leave television shows, do they address it? Do they have to address it? It might be something, one, that we don't know about, and 2, it might be none of your business. How about that?
I mean, Ticket got like 17 channels. If he ain't addressed anything on his channel, why
Right.
you us to do something?
But Reggie Reg, if you send through $100 super chat, I'll tell you what happened.
I mean, I don't know anything. I just work.
I don't need. Neither do I. I know nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Maybe we can get Ticket on Ox Court. Work it out there.
Right?
W plug.
I don't get that.
Jay Got Game said, Cap. Wingstop, Mikal, and OG got the Celtics on lock.
Yeah.
Brunson better than Tatum. Dub Knicks.
Brunson
Y'all
finished higher than Tatum on the MVP
dudes,
list.
y'all dudes up here, I'm telling y'all right now, y'all talk about the Golden State Warrior fans, y'all talk about the Cowboy fans, y'all don't know fans like Knick fans. Knick fans are ridiculous. I just want to put that out there, guys. I watch these Knick fans 5 straight years lose 50 straight games every year. We're going to the playoffs next year. Every year we're going to the playoffs next. They are ridiculous. I just want to put that out there to you guys.
Any large fan base, I think Celtics, Lakers, Knicks, Cowboys, probably Alabama fans they're all probably in the same boat.
Alabama fans are bad. Alabama fans are bad.
Oh, they are. They are.
Y'all know that one atrocious guy in the chat. Y'all know who he is. Y'all see him on Gridiron sometimes. One buddy. I don't even need to do no introductions. Y'all know exactly who this is. He said, how can you praise Ray for leaving Boston to play with the Heat, saying he took control of his career, and bash KD for going to play with the Warriors? You're the epitome of pick and choose, my man.
Keep that up there, please, Ron. So Ray leaves after his contract is up, right? Ray leaves after his contract is up. Not in the prime of his career, because he only played 2 more years after that, and he retired. KD, on the other hand, is in the prime of his career at competition at its apex. And him being that vital, Ray Allen was basically over at that point. And
damn, buddy, you cooked them. Buddy, hey, that's how you shut down the show with a super chat. Hey, buddy, you finally got one.
That's right.
You finally got one, buddy. All right. Yeah, that's that. On to the next super chat. Damn, I can't believe Buddy really chill like that. Context Clues said, can y'all talk about Gordon Hayward retiring?
Shout out to Gordon Hayward, man. Paul George, the last one standing from the 2010 draft class.
The 2010 draft class?
Yeah.
Let's see, Gordon. How much did he make in his career, bro?
He made a lot of bread.
Over 300, right?
Yeah, shout out to Gordon. Those last 2 years at Utah were crazy. I wish he would have never went to Boston. He probably, well, I don't know. Maybe he still would have broke his leg. Who knows?
270.
272. I was close. Okay.
Wow. I love that.
Shout out to Gordon Hayward, man. Shout out to Gordon Hayward.
I mean, chill, Marge, just imagine that, like, you made 270. How old is he? 35?
34, 35, yeah.
And then 33. And now you're just investing, managing your money. You can do whatever career you want to do. Man, that's great, bro. I mean, literally, that's the dream. That's why you get involved.
And he doesn't have to go down 20 years from now hearing people slander his legacy because no one's going to be talking about him. He's just going to be rich and chilling. Yeah, man. Perfect life.
And he did all that from Butler. And honestly, Ron, he's about 2 inches away from having one of the best legacy games ever at Butler.
Oh,
facts.
I thought it was going in.
That was against who was that? Who was that?
North Carolina?
It was North Carolina. That's what I thought. That's what I thought it was UNC. It was North Carolina.
I thought that junk was going in, bro. Yeah. He shot it confident too.
Shout out to Gordon Hayward for real. I really did like Gordon Hayward's game. He was dope. He was really dope.
Y'all,
go ahead.
As of right now, Paul George is the only remaining person from the 2010 draft class.
I wonder what's up with that 2010 draft class and then broke legs like that.
Yeah, John Wall, Boogie.
I'm gonna throw this on the screen right now. These are who was picked. Let me zoom this in.
Oh, it was Duke swiping.
Yeah, all right, Duke. It was
one of those teams.
See, y'all need to just start listening and stop talking so much and start listening.
Listening to who? You?
You need to listen to anybody. Actually, go back and listen to the Battle vs. Casual.
I already did that yesterday. And Casual kept interrupting. Like, I don't want to debate anymore, bro. Like, I'm just trying to.
See y'all tomorrow.
All right, Swiper.
Swiper. See, Swiper took heed. All right. This is the 2010 draft class. You see, it was John Wall, Evan Turner, Derek Favors, Wesley Johnson. You see DeMarcus, Greg Monroe, Al Farouk. There goes Gordon Hayward and
why
Paul
you skip
George.
Udo?
I'm gonna start skipping a lot of people.
Al Farouk, Aminu, Larry
Babbitt, Luke Babbitt, yes sir.
Oh, God damn.
Eric Bledsoe, Avery Bradley. Shout out Larry Sanders.
Trevor Booker.
Quincy Pondexter. Big shout out to Quincy.
Grievous Vasquez.
Tibor Pleiss.
Oh, Bielitsa.
On Whiteside. Oh my God.
Oh, Landry Fields, GM. Yes, sir.
Shout out Landry. Lance.
Oh, yeah.
Who else we got in this class? Well, you guys see it right here. It is only one remaining player, and he goes by the name of Paul George. But I'm asking you guys this because now I would like for you guys to tell me if you could redraft, who would you think would go top 5? looking back on it. In this
Are we assuming the same people get hurt at the same time?
Knowing what you know now, things can go the same, or maybe you could prevent some things.
John Wall still goes number one.
No, he doesn't.
Paul George goes number one.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does, Ron.
Paul George goes number one. But if you're telling me John Wall stays healthy, Paul George still goes number one.
Well, John Wall's still top five, then. All right.
I think.
How does Paul George?
Boogie might go number one.
Oh,
hell no! Hell no!
What? It's definitely if it's not John Wall, then it's Paul George for sure. Paul George was number one. Yes, Paul George was number one. Okay.
At their peaks, Boogie was the most dominant player in this class.
We're not talking about at their peaks. We're talking about redrafting.
Boogie was not better than Paul George or John Wall.
But peak Boogie was better than peak Paul.
No.
Okay, let me make a correction. You're right. You are right. Paul George at his peak was better than Boogie at his peak. But what I'm gonna say is, Boogie was just more dominant. I'm gonna just. I think
that's the top three.
Boogie was more of a force.
I think we can agree that's the top three though. Yes. I think it might go PG Boogie John Wall or PG John Wall Boogie. Either way, I don't care.
I'm a Boogie hater, so I'm biased. I can't say it.
Man, Boogie,
I mean, like if I'm
Boogie, and when he got over to the Pelicans, Boogie had a 7-year stretch that arguably was better than any 7-year stretch from Paul George.
7?
Yeah,
was he nice for 7 years? Are you
Boogie was nice
sitting here telling us that Boogie Cousins was better for 7 years?
From beginning until he tore his Achilles heel, yes, he was amazing. From the day he got to the league until he tore his Achilles, he was amazing.
That's not better than any 7 years of Paul George.
Yes,
it was. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm a Boogie hater.
I said it.
We just disagree.
I'm looking right now from 2014 to 2018.
Oh, that's a great 7 years.
13, 14 to 17, 18. And that might not be 7 years. I just said 7 years. It could be 6. It could be 5. That was better than Paul
5
George.
years.
Okay, he had a better 5-year stretch than Paul George. Now, Paul George had a better season with OKC. Outside of that, I'm not giving it to Paul George.
I'll proudly be a hater. Paul George now is better than Boogie ever was, so I don't care about this. This is just
today.
I disagree. Yes.
He's hating.
I just disagree with this.
No way.
We can't argue that. We can't argue.
Yeah, I told you I'm a hate. I don't agree with anything you're saying right now. I'm sorry. I just don't.
But that was a dope draft class though. Nonetheless,
Boogie went 22-11, damn near 22-12. 24-12, 27-11, 27-11, 27-11, 24-12, 25-13. Come on, y'all. And then went to the Warriors the next year and proceeded to go 16-8. Come on, y'all really.
He's still down there in Taiwan cussing refs out too.
It's crazy.
He wasn't that good.
It's crazy how quickly y'all forget Morris. He was the most skilled.
Why are you gonna keep arguing with him when you see that?
Yeah, we were in an era where the third best big in the league was Andre Drummond. Good for you, Boogie. Nice. I don't care. He wasn't that good. The man didn't play a lick of defense. Would give up on plays. Would just start intentionally fouling people.
We know bigs that don't
because
play
he's mad at
either.
the refs. Would just start yelling at people because he was mad that he didn't get a call. That man was intentionally sabotaging his team because he got in a bad mood. He's one of the worst players I've ever seen. I hate everything Boogie did in Sacramento. I hate every single part of it. It was a disgusting basketball player. He was a disgusting basketball player.
Skill-wise, you can't argue that at all.
Yeah, I'm not arguing against his skill. I'm arguing about the fact that he would intentionally sabotage his team because he got in a bad mood. I'm arguing against the fact that he would refuse to play defense but he didn't get a call he wanted on the other end. I'm arguing against the fact that man would turn the ball over at rates that compared to Russell Westbrook. I'm arguing against the fact that he was a 6'10" big who couldn't finish around the basket. He wasn't good. I don't care that he averaged 26 and 12. He wasn't good. Domantas Sabonis is better than him. He's not good.
I can agree with that.
Boogie is maybe my least favorite player of all time. I don't like anything he did in the NBA. I've watched too many of those Kings games because I've had to listen to Boogie's better than Embiid. I've had to listen to Boogie's better than Jokic. I go back and watch, and I can count in one game 15 plays where he just refuses to try because he's in a bad mood. And that's just in individual games. And everyone's like, oh, the Kings didn't win because the team was bad. No, he was sabotaging the team. He was actively making the team worse. Would they have won without him? No. Would they have won without him? No. But he definitely wasn't helping.
He's spitting right there. He's spitting right there.
I'm not saying he's not telling the
when
truth.
we had Ray John with them years with Boogie, we for sure should have been a playoff team. Like we had a roster that could have got us, for sure 6, 7, 8 seed, no doubt. There was no reason why we were still missing the playoffs when we had that roster. That's 100%. I disagree with Boogie not being a good basketball player. I think Boogie was amazing.
I'm hyperbolic.
I think Boogie was amazing, but there are clear things that Boogie was doing that was like, bro, like if you would stop doing this, you know what I'm saying, we could be better. If you tried on defense, consistently tried on defense, if you weren't always throwing temper tantrums like a toddler, if he wasn't having toddler temper tantrums, he probably would have still been in the league last year. You know what I mean? Like he not only did he sabotage teams, he sabotaged his career because you know how that goes. He came in thinking he was hot shit and couldn't nobody tell him nothing, and that ruined his career. Without a doubt. All right, but you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you're never hot enough shit to be acting the way Boogie was acting. I've seen Boogie come out of games and push teammates out of chairs, like move, like there's seats over there. Like Boogie was a terrible teammate. He won over a lot of people in Sacramento because he did do some good things for the community, you know what I'm saying? But still, like he was a 100% straight pure asshole. You know what I'm saying? Pure asshole. But he was dope on that basketball court if you forget about all the other shit. 100%.
If you only look at the good things, he's one of the most talented bigs we ever seen. But I'm sorry, I went back and rewatched some Boogie games like last week because I was seeing these Jokic and Embiid Boogie convos. That man, he's not comparable at all. He was maybe the best big in the league at a time where the bigs were atrocious. And even then, I'm still not sure he was the best big in the league. But I'm fine to just say he was because he put up 26 and 13 or whatever. But it goes beyond the box score with Boogie. Go back and watch one random Kings game and just watch Boogie. Just watch Boogie for a whole 38 minutes or whatever he played. Just only watch him. You will be able to count 20 occasions within a game. It's like, okay, I can see why the Kings are losing as bad as they're losing. It's not just because everyone around him was trash. So he was contributing to the problem.
So are you saying, Mars, that I was right to lose my mind when the dude told me that peak Boogie was better than peak Shaq?
Yes, you were right to lose.
Well, that's crazy.
All it is nostalgia. It happens to every good player who ends up dealing an injury and their career gets derailed. Nostalgia comes over, and all of a sudden they never had any flaws. Yeah. It happens to all of them. Boogie's just the most recent example.
Yeah,
that's true, Mars, but you should never compare him to peak Shaquille O'Neal. That's just insane.
Yeah, I know the guy she was talking about because he sent Superchat saying the same thing.
But I can make an argument. I can make an argument that peak Boogie is better than peak Shaq, and I want to hurl myself off the 10th floor of a building when I hear that.
Well, I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at anybody for saying that can make an argument. If you think you can make an argument,
you can't. No, you can't.
I'm gonna listen. I'm here for the debate's sake. I'm here for that. But to really believe that, I think is crazy. But there was a time when I wanted to trade Boogie for Julius Randle when he was on the Lakers. I'm like, yo, we can get Julius Randle and that pick. I thought we could get Julius Randle, get that pick, and draft Jahlil Okafor. I was like, yo, that's a win, you know. But
Julius is better than Boogie. But well. I'm Paul George.
Julius was nasty.
I'm not even. The 5-year Boogie over Paul George is just crazy.
That 5 years.
No, I can't get with that. But I think that's if they redrafted that and that was your top 3, I think that's one of the better top 3s though. Like that's not like top 5. It's not like a top 5, top 3 or nothing. But it's a really good top 3. Like
most drafts have a John Wall.
Yeah, but this one's different though, Mars. I know how you feel about Boogie. I know we just went over that, but John Wall, Boogie, and Paul George, boy,
that's tough, especially because they all could have been much more. Like Paul George has done a lot with his career, especially considering the broken leg and stuff. Mm-hmm. But he could have done a lot more, and you guys know how I feel about the things Paul George be doing too. So like, I'm also not very high on Paul George in terms of the way he be acting. He could have been a lot better than he is too. And then John Wall. I'm just not very high on the 2010 class because I'm also not that high on John Wall. But I do think he was really good. So, like, I think they all could have been a lot better than they were.
Now you're losing.
No, I'm not saying John Wall and Paul George weren't good. I'm just saying I think they could have been a lot more than what they were. Some of it's because of injuries. Some of it's because of other things. But, yeah, I think 2010, the top 3, like, all the potential is up there with a lot of classes. Yeah. But then you look at 2011's draft, it's like, well, we got Kawhi. Kyrie.
Wasn't Clay?
Who else they got in 2011?
Was Clay?
Clay's in that draft. Anyone else I'm missing? Who's that?
Is Jimmy in that one?
Jimmy's in 2011.
He was the last pick in the first.
Kemba's in 2011.
Leonard.
Yeah, like 2011 has a really good top three that you can make. 2012 has AD, Dame, Beal, I think.
Oh, you
We
talking
gotta
about
do
top
that
three.
one day. We gotta rank.
Yeah, like, a lot of drafts have a really
all
good
the-
top three.
All the real
We'll
top threes.
We'll do
Yeah.
that one of these days. But fellas, what I want to do is I want to round out the top 5 though. So we obviously know who the top 3 picks will be. And Chill, actually, let me get your top 3 out of in the 2010 draft class between John Wall, Boogie, and Paul George. Unless you got somebody else that you would take over them 3.
John Wall, Paul George, Boogie.
You pull it up again, Ron?
Yeah, he wasn't better. Gordon Hayward,
Hayward.
no. Greg Monroe,
Ekpe
Derek
Udoh.
Favors, Avery Bradley,
Derek Favors, Wesley Johnson.
Derek
Ekpe
Favors.
Udoh.
Grievous Vasquez.
No, yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good with those 3 guys.
But in what order are you retaking it though? Like if you were making a big board, what would be the order that you would put those 3 in?
I'm starting
Looking
with
back
John
with
Wall.
revisionist history.
With revisionist history, the best John Wall. So like probably John Wall in 18. John Wall in 18. I'll take that John Wall over any Boogie year, any of them. And
Absolutely.
Any Paul George year too? Come on, Chill.
Chill out, man. Chill out.
We can do this, Chill. We can do this.
No,
Jump,
'cause
Boogie, Chill.
I'm
Jump.
not taking John Wall over Oklahoma City Paul George. No, I'm not doing that. Absolutely not.
Oh, his MVP year.
Yeah, I'm not taking him over there. But I'll take him over. I'll take John Wall, 18 John Wall, 17, 18 John Wall over any Boogie year, any of them.
Easily.
So you would go John, Paul George.
I'll go John, Paul George, Boogie. Yes.
Man, I'm taking Gordon Hayward too, but whatever. Man.
Excuse me.
Shout out to Gordon Hayward.
In that top 5 run, number 4, Grievous Vasquez. Thank you.
You taking Grievous over Gordon Hayward?
I'm damn ready to take Grievous over Paul George. Y'all know how I get when we talk about Grievous. I'm gonna keep my bias out of this.
Mars, who would you go 4 and 5? It kind of gets a little tricky after.
I'm going Boogie at 4.
Yo, so who are you taking at 3?
Gordon Hayward. I just said that. I'm taking Gordon Hayward at 3.
Troll alert.
I'm not trolling. I'm taking.
Don't get me wrong, Mars. I understand how.
I'm taking Gordon Hayward. Wow. He's a.
What about Larry? You're not gonna take Larry Sanders?
No, we good.
No, not Larry Sanders.
So I go Boogie at 4.
Not the weed head. Chill out.
At 5.
Not the weed head. You got Avery Bradley.
But when I say AD was a weed head, y'all got mad at me.
Al Farouk.
I forgot. Yo, that's 4 and 5, Ron. We got Grievous at 4 and Al Farouk at 5.
Oh, hey, Hassan's in here.
I know.
Bro, I gotta
we didn't say his name for a reason. All right, hear me out.
Uh-oh.
I feel if they ain't misused Evan Turner, he would have been a good player.
Mars, he came in broken. He came into the league broken. Let's start there.
Nah, Evan.
Yes.
Nah.
He came into the league broken. So
how he come into the league broken?
He had a bad back coming into the league. So him coming into the league, we weren't able to maximize what he could have, because he was before he got hurt at Ohio State, he was a damn good athlete. That slowed him down. 100% that slowed him down. So now
that's a point forward. If they just ain't asking to start trying to shoot threes, I feel like you can find a spot for Evan
the
Turner.
reason why they did that was because he couldn't get downhill like he would be able to had he not screwed up his back. So they turned him into that.
Nah, like you telling me he can't be Kyle Anderson?
Kyle Anderson?
Like, and I'm not saying like, oh, that's a great player, but I'm saying in the context of the 2010 draft,
he was better.
Like how high? Like Avery Bradley would probably be the pick I'm saying, but like Evan Turner could have been a very good NBA player. I just feel like they just misused him and started using him off the ball, and he can't shoot. He just couldn't shoot. Like he needed the ball in his hands, or you need to use him in different ways. And I feel like the way the game's gone, Evan Turner could have provided some level of value. Now, I don't know how good it would have been. And I'm not saying he would have been an all-star. I'm just saying I saw the rationale with him going number 2. Now, redraft, I'm taking Avery Bradley 5. So what's that? Paul George, John Wall, Gordon Hayward, Boogie, Avery Bradley.
I got that same 5 as you, Mars, but obviously, like, Boogie's way
higher. Boogie number 1 or something. Yeah.
Nah, I got Paul George 1.
I'm not
going
taking
Paul
Avery
George
Bradley over Boogie. I'm not. Hell no. I'm not doing that. I can't take. I think Avery Bradley was great in his role, in the Derek White role, in the all league defender. I think he was fantastic in that. But for what Boogie provided, even though Boogie, as a player, and as a personality, he was a detriment at times, but he was better at what he did than what Avery Bradley was at what he did.
You win him with what Boogie does?
I think if you get the right pieces around him, you could have. They could have done better. Because
you winning with what Boogie does?
Are you winning with what Boogie does? I know you're winning with what Avery Bradley does. I do know that. Yeah, I do know you're winning with what Avery Bradley does. Are you winning with what Boogie does? Yes, I do think you're winning with. It's the other stuff that comes with it. That's the downside. It's the goofy logic. It's the explosions. It's the flipping out on teammates. It's that stuff that. I mean, we had that. Can we contain that though? Because Rasheed Wallace was volatile, but we was able to calm Rasheed Wallace down once he got on the right crew.
I lost count of how many times the Kings suspended Boogie for games because of the stuff he's up. I've lost count of how many times.
Mars, Rasheed Wallace got thrown out of a playoff game in the second quarter.
I'm not arguing. I'm not arguing against Rasheed
and
Wallace.
They were able to reel him in. So
but
for what
Rasheed Wallace, but Rasheed Wallace would talk to refs. He would talk a lot. Like, he was volatile. Let's say that.
Sure.
But how many times? And this might be unfair because it's hard to remember these things. But how many times do you actually remember Rasheed Wallace being a detriment to his team on either side of the floor because he refuses to put in effort?
I don't think the effort was never not there. But that's what why wasn't the effort there though with Boogie? Because of his personality, because he got wrapped up in the goofy logic with the referees or not getting a call or anything like that. I mean, you could say the same thing similar to Sheed, where Sheed would, as good as Sheed was before those Detroit years, when he was in Portland, getting thrown out of playoff games. More than once, by the way, getting thrown out of playoff games and him being a detriment to his team because he didn't like a call. He didn't like how a referee looked at him. And he came into the game with that. That's a detriment to your group. As good as you are as a ball player. But the Detroit Pistons were able to reel him in. If we could get Boogie and we can get the right guys around him, we could reel him in. Now Rondo was a bit volatile too. So I don't know if Boogie took to what Rondo was selling. I mean, we're talking about the same Rondo who got in a fist fight with Ray Allen with boxing gloves. So
got in a fist fight with Chris Paul too. Put the paws on that boy.
I can see that.
But
I can see that part.
All right. If you're watching the video, you already know. Like the video. Keep commenting in the chat. Subscribe to the channel and become a Hall of Fame member like Dorian Clayton, like Cobra Sonoraditz, or like Multi Kenny. Shout out to those guys. Also, if you haven't got a chance to this week, go to playerschoicemerch.com and take a like. But make sure you take it. All right, fellas, we got some super chats. So let's go ahead and do this. Appreciate everybody that's in here for real. You guys are the GOATs. Make sure you join our Telegram sports community chat where we're talking basketball, football, baseball, F1. Yeah, Ox is in the F1 chat. Soccer, all of that good stuff. You guys make sure to join up and come and talk with some of your favorite panelists, not just on the panel, but you got From the Logo, you got Open Gym, you got all the other beautiful shows on the Players Choice platform, and everybody's there. All right, let's get to the super chats.
Wait, Ron. Wait. Did you say the F1 chat?
Yeah.
Like car driving?
Yeah, a sport. Yeah, it's the sport.
I'm gonna mute my mic. Go ahead.
Speaking of sports, before I get to the super chats, I just want to let you guys know that the women's basketball team for USA plays against Belgium a little later tonight. So you guys be sure to tap into that. Hold on, let me find the actual time. I'll find the actual time and I'll get back to you guys. We'll get back to that in a second. But you guys make sure to tune in so we can talk about them tomorrow. We definitely talk about that game. Mm-hmm. Context Clues said, can y'all talk about Gordon Hayward retiring? Yes, we did, Context. Mm-hmm. Thanks for sending that through. The Ones said, something no one mentions is Luka plays through injury.
He does.
Oh, that was a little boo-boo, y'all. A little owie.
What was that knee injury? Did it require surgery at the end of the season? I mean, or was it just rest?
It was a floor burn. He was bleeding. He was bleeding through the little tights. There wasn't nothing internal. That was an external injury. All they needed to do was slap a Band-Aid on it, not even stitches.
And we were done. Let's get back to work.
It was an owie.
Right.
I just seen it. The women's team plays at 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern time. So y'all be sure to tap in. Watch the greatest basketball team on the planet.
Who they play today?
They play Belgium.
Okay. All
right. Kent 10 said, not out of business, but corrupt. Olympics also test.
I don't know what that means.
Rambo E 1996 said, stop bringing the boxing gloves. Ox, it's bad luck.
No.
Cam Runco said, I've heard enough. Ox hates OKC.
Ox, do you hate the Oklahoma City Thunder? Did you hate them, Ox?
I was literally sitting here with my mic muted for 10 minutes, and all of a sudden he sends that message. I didn't even know what he's talking about.
How do you feel about the Oklahoma City Thunder, Ox?
Yeah, Ox.
I told y'all already. I think that they're a good young team. I think they're going to be an issue in the next 2 or 3 seasons. I just don't think they're as good as people say they are today. That means if that means I hate them, then damn it, I hate them.
How good do people say they are today? Do you think they're an NBA championship contender?
Not yet, no. Well, with Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein over there now, I think they leveled up a bit, so they're getting closer and closer. You know what I mean? Like, and if Chet puts a couple pounds on this offseason, continues to get better, I don't see SGA getting better, but he's already good enough if you ask me. Right. So, I mean, you know what? Like, with Isaiah Hartenstein and Alex Caruso over there, I wouldn't be surprised if they had a Western Conference Finals berth. If they're gonna win the West now. Right. So these are things I was saying before the season was over. So I mean, new information, new take. You know what I mean? I think the Thunder got better.
Yeah.
Once again with Caruso and Hartenstein, I think that can beat anybody in the West now. So yeah, I mean, I think they're much better than they were before that. And if J-Dub and Chet take another step up, then cool. But I don't think I hate them. I didn't even say nothing about them today. Oh, is it because I said I'd rather see the Mavs Rocket series or something? Like,
we were talking about that. Yeah.
That's got to be it. But even when I said that, I didn't even bring up OKC.
The Mavs Rocket series would be fire, though. Like, I think those would both be good series.
I don't know. Whoever did that, man, send another super chat and tell me what I said.
Rod said D-Rose over 2011 LeBron.
I think Dwight should have been the MVP. So
he had a legit case that year. I think he finished 4th in league MVP votes on elite defense.
Amari over all of them. Okay.
In 2011, didn't he get hurt that year?
With 2010, 2011, all those. Yeah. Amari was better than all of them.
Dwight
was not better than Dwight Howard.
Dwight came second in 2011, I think.
And James was 3rd, I think, that year.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Amari's first year on the Knicks, he was better than all of them.
Drink more agua said second place finisher Dwight Howard was robbed in 11. There you go.
I'm not gonna say robbed, but I do. Dwight would have got my vote if I had a vote. Dwight or LeBron, to be honest. But probably Dwight. Just
shout out Derrick Rose.
Super team.
Kent 10 said, does Julian Strawther have any potential?
These summer leagues, boy, these summer league games, they will get you misconstrued. You'll see a dude in the summer league game playing against some young guys and some free agents, and automatically, this dude look like he the real deal. I mean, I've done it in the past, definitely, but What is Straw to bring? Is he better than Christian Brown?
Nah.
Right? Today. I ain't talking about in a few. I'm talking about today. If the season opened up, where does he fall in the rotation? Is he better than Christian Brown? I don't think so neither. So
Ron, how do you feel about him, Ron?
Ron don't want to hear his name ever again.
Thing about it is, I actually like Julian. He went to Gonzaga, which is, it's an in-state school. I'm a big Gonzaga fan. I like Julian. I've followed him for the last few years, but just from what Swiper was saying, it's like, bro, like, don't act like Julian for the cup and just hold it down for y'all, and like he could just easily step in and replace KCP. But I think Julian's gonna be a solid player, though.
You like him the way Penn likes players.
I used to hate you, but I really dig you now, but I kind of still hate you.
Speaking of Penn, hopefully we'll see him soon.
Mm-hmm.
Mo with the super chat said, I'm sleeping on the Grizzlies. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, you're definitely wrong. I think they're top 3 seed next year. 100% they are.
The
Top
West
three?
is so annoying. The West is so.
Wow,
yes.
Okay.
Well, you figure, Ron, before Ja, got on his goofy and was doing what he was doing. I mean, they were a top 3 seed the year before, and they were Dylan Brooks getting thrown out of a series for 2 of the 6 games. That's almost half the series, and him getting hurt from really having a shot at beating Golden State and getting to the West Finals. That was legit. And they were younger then. So now we come back this year, and they basically got the same crew, except they got better. I think Desmond Bane is better. You got Zach Edey, who's going to make Triple J better. You got Ja coming back off of injury. He had a whole offseason to heal up and get solid. So if you look at what the Western Conference looks like, Oklahoma City, Denver, Minnesota, the Clippers, Dallas, Phoenix, New Orleans, the Lakers, Sacramento, Houston, Memphis. I mean, how much better are they going to be next season with everybody else coming back? I think they're going to be awesome.
My biggest thing for Memphis is GG. Like, Damo was right. Everything Damo said about GG, that's how I feel about GG right now.
He's okay.
Kent 10 said Boogie is Julius Randle with a good PR and nostalgia.
That's pretty much how I feel about
All
He the same dude as Julius Randle?
I think Julius is better, but yeah.
right. Mavs Luka Kyrie said 09 draft was considered weak. Crazy looking at it now.
Was it? I don't remember the 09 draft being considered weak, considering that was the Beasley draft, right?
No, this is Blake, Steph.
That draft wasn't
Harden.
really considered all of that. I know
Blake was being hyped, but
Yeah.
Rubio was being hyped too because
Yes.
he was like the biggest. He was a big European prodigy. I know Rubio was.
Yeah.
And
Rubio
then Steph
was.
obviously had the question marks, but it was like, hey, this young kid from Davidson, he's shooting.
Steph
threes.
wasn't being talked about nearly enough though. They really weren't jacking Steph's 3-point shooting ability like
The
that.
scouting report on Steph was he was too small,
and he's
couldn't
not a point guard.
defend. He's not a point guard. That was the scouting report on him.
Nobody thought that Steph's 3-point shot was just going to make a difference in his game. Like nobody was
No, I
like, okay, his shooting is what's gonna. Well, I mean, they obviously said his shooting is what's going to keep him in the league. Obviously, he was drafted as a shooter that had some preliminary playmaking ability and had a good handle. But nobody thought that his shooting was just going to be like was going to make him an all-star.
Right. Ricky
Yeah,
Rubio,
Let alone a superstar.
They thought he was too small.
Ricky Rubio, that was off the strength of what happened last summer in the Olympics.
Yeah.
That's what that was about.
He was young too, Chill. He had been
Yes.
playing pro. Remember, he'd been playing pro since he was like 13 or something like that. So he also he got that tagline too.
Them being weak. I don't know about weak.
I think
I
it was
did
an
not
okay draft, but I wasn't around at the time to know what the narrative was. But I know 08 was probably for sure held in high regards.
I can tell you right now, Mars, like guys like Hassim Thabit were high on him.
Oh yeah,
Very high on
7'2" rim protector.
Yes, they were very high on him. James Harden too.
But 08 got Michael Beasley, so you know how I feel, man.
Tariq Evans was a pretty big deal coming out of that draft too. I thought he would have been better. I did.
Where Tyreek?
First couple seasons.
Where Tyreek go to school? Memphis.
With the Memphis, yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Same as Derrick Rose, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Masink OG said it's weird how you saying Evan Turner in the right situation could be useful, which I agree with, but Boogie wouldn't have been.
I didn't say Boogie wasn't have been. I took him 4th in the redraft. I didn't say he wouldn't have been useful. I didn't say that. He could have been useful in the right situation. I just would take him 4th in the redraft, and I just think I would encourage people to go back and watch some 16 Kings games, but I know the team wasn't good, so probably don't want to in your time off. But if you disagree with what I'm saying, anything I've said about Boogie, I would advise you to go back and watch some of those games. And if you still disagree after you watch those games, then we can have a different conversation. I'm fine with that. But that's what I'm saying. I think he could have been useful in a different situation. He just wasn't as good as I think.
Now, remember too, Mars, if we're being honest about Boogie, I can appreciate your logic about him with the officials, him giving up on plays. I like to also, I mean, they did a terrible job in developing him too. I think they had 4 coaches in 5 years. Like they had no idea what they were doing up there in Sacramento with him. I mean,
the Kings were incompetent.
Yeah, they had no idea what they were doing.
That's
part of
Nick Staus.
Yes, and that's part of development, right? That's part of development, right? That's part of that's part of developing players, putting the right people around them, putting them in the right coaching situation, putting them in the right system. That's part of developing. And they had no idea what they were doing with him. But in the process of them doing that, he still managed to, when he was engaged, he still managed when he was in that space, being on the floor, he still managed to get busy. Now, could his motor have been better? Could he have been more mature? I mean, we could say that about a lot of guys, but at that point, Sacramento was they just weren't a good franchise at that point, and it just got compounded with what Boogie was doing.
If you ignore the bad things about Boogie, I think he was a really, really good player. If you just ignore all of the bad things, yes, I think he was really, really
well, we can't now. When you say the bad things, Mars, what are the bad things that we're ignoring? Because we can't just say, we're ignoring the bad things about, like, that's like saying, I want to ignore the fact that slow-mo can't shoot. I want to ignore the fact that slow-mo is slow. Well, I can't ignore that. That stuff matters if we're doing that. What are we ignoring from Boogie?
If you ignore how bad he was around the rim, if you ignore how bad his touch was around the rim, if you ignore how bad of a shooter he was compared to how many jump shots he took, if you ignore how bad his turnover problem was, if you ignore how bad his fouling issues were, if you ignore how bad
it's crazy.
yeah, kick him out. If you ignore how bad his rim protection was, if you ignore how bad his pick and roll coverage was, and then you just look at the post game and the power game and the skill set and how sometimes when he does make jump shot, it looks cool. If you ignore all of those clear negatives and then look at the positives of, hey, when he's making jumpers, they look real cool. We'll ignore the fact that he really did shoot 30% from mid-range in his prime. If we ignore that, and then if we ignore the fact that he was shooting about 50% on layups as a big man, if we ignore that too, yeah, he was great. Just ignore all of those things. Yeah, he was.
So essentially, what you're telling me to ignore his game, because that's a huge part of his game.
The highlights make him look a lot better than the.
That's what I'm saying.
Game.
All of the stuff that you mentioned. I mean, we can't do that. We can't ignore his game. The stuff that him as a defender in a pick and roll heavy league, him as a big in a league that the big man was going away, so he should dominate around the rim because Shaq was gone. Dwight Howard was becoming less than. Al Jefferson wasn't really that dominant as a big man. When I say a big man, he wasn't Shaq. He wasn't Dwight Howard. He wasn't that. So I should have been better. So, I mean, these are things, especially as a big man, I can't ignore that stuff. No.
But shout out to Boogie, man. Those highlights go crazy. Remember that 55-point game he had? That was tough. I remember that game. Shout out to
like I said, I
was there.
You was actually there?
Crazy.
Or you just saying?
Oh,
for real?
Wow. Yeah.
Shout out to
the reason why I'm so biased about Boogie.
Oh, so you seeing that performance live? If I would have seen that, maybe I'd be saying Boogie goes number 1. I don't know.
Yeah, man, I saw Brandon Roy put 50 on Phoenix.
Yeah, but you're a Brandon Roy hater.
I am not a Brandon Roy hater. That is not true.
Okay.
No,
now you're not Brandon Roy hater.
But I was in the building in Portland that night. He put 50 on them, so that doesn't mean that I'm biased toward him.
I'm not biased towards Boogie either. I just like him a lot. I'm high on Boogie.
Okay.
I think it's just nostalgia. That's what I think it is.
I was high on Boogie at the time.
Yeah, but Because
Okay,
what other bigs were there, Ron? You know what? I love the way DeAndre Jordan rose to the rim.
You know how nice
Drummond
Boogie
gets
be
rebounds
today?
Like
right now?
He'd be the 8th best center in the league. Maybe.
So Ron, if you think about the 5-man, is he better than Joker today? Boogie at his best. Is he better than Joker today?
Can we could leave Joker and Embiid out of this?
Okay,
and
so
Joker, then we can start having the conversation from right there.
Is he better than Anthony Davis?
He was better than Anthony Davis then.
No, he was.
Yes, no, he was not. No, he was not.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
100% he was better than Anthony Davis.
No, he wasn't.
No way he wasn't
better than Anthony Davis then.
Hell no.
I'm gonna just leave it right there. He was better than Anthony Davis then.
1,000% he was better than Anthony Davis.
So he's better than Bam too.
Oh, that's not.
Yeah, I'm not doing this.
Sure, I'm not gonna disrespect. I'm not gonna disrespect Bam Adebayo. I'm not gonna do it. But
yeah. So he was better than Sabonis.
20. Listen. Chill. Just right quick. 27 and 13. You know what that looks like today?
L basketball.
While they're it's L basketball, but I'm telling you what his numbers will look like today and and how we would have to regard him.
How much
today is 32 and 15.
No, we're not doing that.
Why not?
The reason why we're not doing that. The
reason why you're not using the error tax formula. You're just creating one.
Yes.
That is not Boogie's number.
So what's his numbers today, Mars? You use the formula.
You actually want me to error tax? Okay.
Yes, please.
Boogie today with error tax is bear with me. Got against rebounds.
32 and 14.
No. So what year are you using, by the way?
2016.
16, okay. It's like 29, 12 and a half. 29, 12, 4 assists, and about 4.5 turnovers.
That's Giannis.
Yeah, and then you watch him play defense, and you realize no team is actually running on offense through Boogie.
Right.
So yeah, but sure, just transport the numbers and ignore all the other context and factors. Yeah, 29 and about 29 and 12. Ignoring the fact that he'd be even worse defensively because of the spacing of the game. Ignoring the fact that no good coach would run an offense through Boogie in 2024. Ignoring all of those things. Yeah, 29 and 12.
And Ron, also too, they're shooting the long ball way more. So him rebounding probably wouldn't be as much. Because he'd be at the long ball line a lot. He wouldn't be the offensive rebounder that he was. Because he'd be at the long ball line more today than he would be.
Still be on that block.
Clapping that 3-ball too.
Yeah. He'll make 1 out of 3.
All right.
That's what he did. He was making 1 out of 3. Not like I just made that to hate on him. That's what happened. I made 1 out of 3. Oh, factually, it was actually 33.3%. Exactly 1 out of 3.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah. So now that's gonna go up. So instead of shooting 3 threes, he's gonna shoot like 7 or 8.
No, his percentage is gonna go up.
No, they're not. It's gonna get worse.
They got better. We got an error tax that too. They got better shooting coaches nowadays. Better rhythm.
You better than Anthony Davis. I'm not
more open shots too, and he's cooking to the rim, cooking on the block. Man.
No way.
Cooking to the rim, Boogie. Okay.
And more spacing too, so he has more space to operate.
He does have more space to operate. That is true. That's one thing. The Kings did not give him great space.
He'll be putting Joel to shame right now.
Okay, buddy.
Troll alert.
I'm not trolling at all.
Troll alert. Troll alert.
He for sure had more game. He for sure had more game than Joel.
You know what? Because Ox is one of these basketball dudes. Ox, I'm telling you to your face. Joel Embiid would have ate DeMarcus Cousins' lunch. He would have busted his ass.
And DeMarcus would have ate his dinner.
No, he wouldn't have. In fact,
it would just be a big old potluck. We all bringing food. We all eating each other's food. It would have been a big old potluck. You know, hey, you bring a dish. I eat your lunch. I eat your dinner. You know what I'm saying? No big deal.
Hey, with that being said, like I do got Joel, Brian, and Embiid. I got Joel, Frying DeMarcus, but I got DeMarcus giving Joel everything back.
That's all I'm saying.
We got a super chat.
If y'all think Joel can guard DeMarcus, you're crazy. Go ahead.
Boogie guards himself.
I got a super chat from Alan L. He said, it was obviously not just an owie, but Ox is just mad. His team never gonna be anything important in his lifetime. Dub casual, dub graveyard shift.
Casual pulled up to the graveyard shift, right?
Yeah, and then would not let us get through the damn. Like, yo, we already debated. Like,
It
shut
was just
up.
reminding you that, hey, I cooked you, man. That's what it was, man.
Nah, because you know what we do. We like to like this when we do that.
Rewatch
We're just reviewing it. So we're only talking about what was said and how we feel about it, not making new points and not arguing again. Like, bro, shut up.
Damn. So hold on, wait. What you're saying is Casual cooked you.
Casual
twice
made it
yesterday?
6 though. Casual made it 6-0, basically. Right?
No, he didn't make it 6-0 because we only got through the first 2 rounds. I had to kick him. I had to kick him and Brandon off the show. Like, bro, if you two don't shut up, I'm about to lose it.
Yo, Mars, no wonder they call it the graveyard shift. Damn, Mars.
Ooh, good one, Ron.
Okay. Alan L, he's tight right now. You should have never sent through that super chat.
Oh my god! Like what?
Mo sent through another super chat. He said, "Love the show. What's the chances Ja becomes the face of the league?
Wemby exists.
What the NRA league? I didn't know the NRA started in the league.
Yo." As funny as that is, I do think Ja does have a path to become the face of the league for like a season or two, though. It's strictly they got to win a championship, and it's on like an Allen Iverson type tip, where you're just everybody just loves you. The kids love you, the youth love you. You're JaMorant. You're not the best player in the league. You might not even be top 5, but everybody loves you, and you do get busy.
And so it's kind of like when Quavo was up at the rally talking about gun violence control. It's one of them type things. Like, bro, sit your ass down, bro. I'm so tired of this shit.
We got a new member. His name is Antonio Fry. Shout out to Antonio. Thank you.
Welcome to the crew, brother. Man. Yes, sir.
Leonardo said, bring back Ticket, Jalen, Dub, Low, Influent.
All of them at the same time?
Hey, man. Let's make it a circus in here.
Yeah, that's what
you know what? We'll bring them back and we'll change the name of the panel to Word Salad.
Nice.
Word something. Word something.
Yo, I think for 3 hours, Ron, can we get like a 30-minute word salad segment where we could just bring up random topics? Because I mean, I'm sitting here for 3 hours. You know, I got ADHD. I gotta talk about something.
Focus, Ox.
We got 3 minutes.
Focus, Ox.
Yo, chill. Ask my mother. Ask my mother, chill. I can't. I'm sorry.
Can't get this boy for 5 minutes to pay attention. Because which goes back to what we was talking about, Ron. This the dude. I thought it was Ron who we was running drill. I thought it was Ron who was running suicide for. No, it's Ox, because we in the huddle and Ox, he just told you to be on the right side of the floor. Just said that to you. You looking in the damn stands at homegirl in row 3 because she winked at you. Instead, we trying to run this damn play. So what happens? We end up losing. Why? And now we got to run because you ain't paying attention, Ox. Will you focus?
My bad.
Please.
Chill. Chill. I done been there before. Ask Ox why we call him Salad Man. And
we're trying to get out of here.
And this has nothing to do with word salad. This is the actual salad. You know, like romaine and spinach. You know, tomatoes, cucumbers.
Let's move on, bro. Let's move on,
We've been in practice for how long, Ox? We're trying to get out of here. We got to get through this drill.
All right,
I'm just gonna say, y'all, Ox loves him a good Caesar salad.
Bro, that shit never happened, bro.
PK the Ruler said, "How was Boogie's behavior with New Orleans?"
Better?
In terms of getting suspended by the team for bad antics, I don't think that happened. But in terms of taking plays off consistently, yeah, that still happened. The Pelicans didn't fall off a cliff when Boogie wasn't there. In fact, they pretty much remained the same.
Well, first of all, Miles, we can't leave out he was on a better team. That was the best team he was on in terms of talent with Drew, Anthony Davis himself,
Rajon
Rondo was on that crew. That was the best. That was the best crew that he was on in terms of talent. So if you want a crew like that, after coming from Sacramento and dealing what he was dealing with them, immediately there has to be a change with you. Immediately it has to be a change with you. So I saw that with Boogie. You saw less outbursts. Not only did you see less outbursts, like you talked about suspensions, he actually played more within the system. that New Orleans team was rolling for a while with him. And I think that if he could have stayed healthy, especially with the attitude that he had, I think that they could have made some noise in the playoffs that year.
With Boogie on the floor, they had a plus 1.2 net rating. With Boogie off the floor, they had a plus 1.2 net rating. They were fine with or without him. He turned he was cool. Boogie's not a bad player. When I said he's bad, that was just me being hyperbolic. I know the TikTok's gonna have that part and it's gonna be crazy. That's cool. But like, he's not the most impactful player, especially when you factor in how many times
they were much better with Boogie than they were.
I know it goes beyond the stats. Of course, they were a better team with Boogie.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Mars.
I'm saying, of course, it goes beyond the stats.
So why bring it up?
But
then?
because seeing no difference would tell you maybe he's not as impactful as you think he was. I'm not saying the stats tell you how impactful he was. They don't. But if there's no difference between them on the floor, with him on the floor and without him on the floor, he clearly isn't one of the most impactful players. Because even the best players in the league, there's an indicator.
Sure.
With Boogie, they remain stagnant. That doesn't mean he's unimpactful, but that probably means he's not one of the most impactful players. That's all I'm saying. DeMarcus Cousins that's the same DeMarcus Cousins who in New Orleans, I think, led the league in turnovers if he played enough games. He was averaging like 5 a game. Like he was hella turnover prone. He still had the flaws as an outside shooter and a rim finisher. He was just a high volume scorer. He wasn't efficient. He never was efficient. He was still bad defensively, and he turned the ball over like crazy. Like that's a recipe for lower impact. Like,
and now
Mars, we got one more super chat, and we need to see the air attack formula because my man A. Shun said, Ron, I would have rather you use the New Orleans stats where he averaged 25, 13, and 5. So Mars, let us have it.
Well, unfortunately, I don't think you're gonna like it, but air attacks wise, he still averages 25, 13, and 5.
Oh, hell no. Hey, Shun, they're lying. Like I said, 32 and 14, man.
You broke the calculator. You broke it.
Oh, my fault.
All right. Y'all be sure to like the video on the way out. Like Open Gym on the way in. Check out the USA game later today. And call your mother, as Chill would say.
Open Gym. Merry Christmas.
Later.
Right. We'll catch y'all later.
Merry Christmas, guys.